The 2021 Big South football season comes to a close in Greensboro, North Carolina, as the Gardner Webb Runnin Bulldogs and the North Carolina A&T Aggies clash here at Truist Stadium. Hello and welcome. Spencer Turkin alongside my partner Stan Luter. Today is about pride and getting ready for the 2022 season.
Not only pride, but it's also about execution and a lot of emotion. This could be the last game for a lot of seniors on both teams, especially the Aggies. So you want to give it your best shot today. Play well. And also for the future, guys want to play well because, hey, so Monday, it all starts over again for the 2022 season.
We've got two big-time running backs in this one.
Oh, man, I think you're going to really enjoy these two guys. First of all, you got Nareed Gaither. Gaither's a small guy, but he's got a lot of power. He's like 120 yards to make 1,000. He can do that because he's explosive. Also can catch the ball out of the backfield. And then, of course, there's Jermaine Martin. Now, he hasn't had the numbers this year that he had last year or 2 seasons ago, but he's still a power back, and he's got a lot of speed. And being this is probably his last football game on Truist Stadium, he wants to go out a winner and go out successful.
It's the last act of the 2021 season. Gardner Webb and North Carolina A&T coming up next on ESPN3. The Big South on ESPN3 is brought to you in part by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. Ingalls. Low prices. Love the savings. Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that. And First Citizens Bank. Forever first. Spencer Turkin, Stan Luter, with you here in Greensboro as Gardner Webb and North Carolina A&T are about to emerge from the locker room, and we are ready for action. It is a beautiful day for football as the stand's starting to welcome in the guests. And Stan, we talked about it in the opening, but today it's really about each team doing what they need to do and focusing on themselves in order to get the job done.
How do you want to approach this? Some teams, you're at the end of the season, you're thinking about other things, and you just go through the motions. And for some players, this could be the very last time they hit this field, and you want to give a great effort. Other teams, you're building for something. And in the case of North Carolina A&T, it's an angry football team. They're disappointed that they're not playing in December. They're not happy that they're not going to be the winners of this conference this year in their first year. So they want to go out and kind of leave a message and let you know, hey, listen, 2022, the Aggies are coming back. And the same thing goes for Gardner Webb, a team that's lost, 4 games by less than a touchdown this season. They've had some injuries, but this is a very explosive football team. Don't get confused, people that are watching this game, with what's happened in the 2 seasons. I know we'll talk about the season history, but don't get confused with that because these are 2 solid football teams that are both playing for a lot of pride today.
And there's our referee for today, Riley Johnson, as North Carolina A&T and Gardner Webb getting set for today's game.
North Carolina will receive.
Gardner Webb has deferred. North Carolina A&T will receive the opening kick as we are just about set to begin action here in Greensboro. And Stan, you're right. I think that the record for Gardner Webb, it doesn't really tell the full story. This is a team that has gotten better each week of the season under head coach Trey Lamb, the second youngest head coach in Division I at 32 years old. And he's got a guy on his roster in Nareed Gaither that is on the doorstep of 1,000 yards rushing this season that could go ahead and really make that a reality today against this Aggie defense.
Well, and like we said in the open, this is a guy that's got a lot of variables in his ballgame. He can catch out of the backfield. He's got some speed. Not really a big guy necessarily, but he's explosive. But this Gardner Webb team has got a lot of other weapons. They spread the ball around. You're going to see 3 and 4 wide receivers. And they can catch the ball in the open field, and they're very impressive quarterback is Mr. Bailey Fisher, and we'll talk a lot about Fisher as this game goes on, but it's a guy that's thrown for over 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. He can make plays with his legs. as well as his arms. And like I said a moment ago, they've got a lot of good wide receivers on the defensive side. For Gardner Webb, you've got a team that are led by, and you're going to enjoy watching Will McRaney. He's going to be an academic All-American. He's already been given a couple of honors academically as well as athletically. But here's the thing you got to remember. He's the number one tackler in the Big South with 100, and that's right, 101 tackles. And as the game goes on, I'll tell you more about what he does and what his impressions are. But this is a good football team that's lost some games that they shouldn't have. And if you're an Aggie fan and you watched A&T, as a lot of people, as certainly you have all season long, Spencer, you know that A&T is, getting over the layover. As a lot of teams lost some games that they felt like they should have won. And now I think you're seeing a very, very solid A&T team as we get ready to end this season and start a new one.
Certainly, these two teams playing some of their better football as we enter this finale. It will be an interesting story at quarterback for North Carolina A&T today. Jalen Fowler is expected to start. However, we will see Kingsley Ifedi and even Zach Yeager, the freshman for Sam Washington. This is an audition for those three guys.
Yeah, I guess we've said it and probably said another 5 or 6 times before this day is over. This is an audition. This is tape day. And the coaches will go back and they'll look at what everyone was able to get done today, what you did and didn't do, and project. And then you get into the spring and winter workout, start after the holidays, and it's like, okay, we are going to erase what happened a season ago, learn from it, and be better next year. And that's what both teams are doing. That's what a lot of teams are going out of the country. But the one difference today, Spencer, that I think a lot of teams bring to it is a lot of teams aren't going through the motions. This is an important football game for the Aggies. It's an important football game for Gardner Webb.
And it says a lot about these programs and the Big South Conference, top to bottom. Every team in the Big South has earned at least one win this season. Commissioner Kyle Calander joined us a few weeks ago here on the ESPN broadcast, and he said flat out this is the deepest Big South football conference that we have put on the field in the history of the Big South, and that tells you how tough this league is. And I think that North Carolina A&T has learned it this year in its first go-around, and Gardner Webb has known it for a while.
Well, I don't think in A&T's case that it wasn't something they had to learn. I think they knew it, but you played some teams that maybe were a little better than the teams you played before. And I mean, that's just kind of being very honest about it. And you look at Monmouth, and you look at what they've done in Kennesaw. They were nationally ranked to begin the season, along with A&T. They've stayed there. So yeah, it's been good for everyone to learn to play. And Big South was probably going to be represented by 2, maybe 3 teams, definitely 2 teams, NCAA wise. Well, here we go.
It's Bashal Tootin and Tamon Cook back deep to receive the kick. Dominic Sojat boots this one away, and we are underway here in Greensboro as Tootin has a full head of steam. He'll cross the 30 and is taken down out of bounds. So the ball will be placed at the 33-yard line, and that is where the Aggie offense will get its first go here from scrimmage. Jalen Fowler will trot out and lead the drive. Went just 1 of 6 through the air at South Carolina State as the Aggies beat the Bulldogs 27-17 down in Orangeburg, South Carolina. So we'll see how A&T decides to come out. Most assume they'll plan to keep it on the ground. There's Martin. He'll turn upfield and is sent to the turf. Jermaine Martin, rushing touchdown in each of the last 2 games that he has played in. Did not play at Charleston Southern, another game that the Aggies won. Been a bit of a disappointing season.
Getting the ball in Martin's hands, we'll see what he can do. A&T wants to establish the ground game to get some one-on-one matchups for the receivers, like now.
Fowler looking deep, took too much time and is dropped.
And this has been one of the problems for A&T all season long, is being efficient and offensively. And you talked about, Fowler not being very effective in the first half of the game against South Carolina State. That time under pressure, a good job by Gardner Webb defensively, not allowing the wide receivers to get into their breaks and bringing him down. And again, that's what you're going to see, the 23rd sack of the season for the Bulldogs.
William McRaney, the sophomore, the first one in there. As Fowler now facing third down and 8 to go. Towards the sideline he goes. That one hauled in by Jamison Warren, and it is good for a first down.
Nice, easy out route to Warren. Warren's had a nice freshman season. That's his 19th catch of the season. And again, giving Fowler some time. Found him in outside coverage, boom, keeps those chains moving. That's what you want to do if you're A&T. You want to be able to convert on third down and get this ground game established.
First and 10 from the 46. Play action. The keeper by Fowler. He'll cross into Gardner Webb territory. And it'll bring up second down.
Fowler has had some success running the football this season. When you take away all the sack yards, Steele's not got a rushing touchdown, but picked up about 126 yards. That gives him an extra dimension on the ground.
This time it's Martin, and he's able to plow ahead just shy of that first down marker. He's taken down at the 45-yard line.
And Spencer, like you said earlier, you can almost anticipate today that A&T is going to try to establish, get this guy going, let him go out with a bang this afternoon.
Jamaine Martin back in 2019, 1,246 yards, 8.3 yards per carry. Only 4 yards per carry this season. He has not been healthy pretty much the entire campaign.
Yeah, he has been banged up and nicked up, and defenses have geared their game plan for him to stop him.
Fowler under center this time. Hunt the motion man. Fowler will keep it himself and do his best Tom Brady impression across the first down marker. That'll keep the drive alive. And it will be first and 10 from the 42 for the Aggies.
A&T having some success converting their third downs. They were seventh best, or are seventh best in the conference on third down conversion, 48 and 128. So being able to keep these drives going, so very important.
So first down for North Carolina A&T as Tootin gets sent out wide. Quick drop. Fowler flush from the pocket and is forced to get rid of it.
Again, good pressure on the inside by this Gardner Webb tuck. Bryce Bass, 15, comes out from his spot and puts pressure on again. The wide receivers of A&T have got to get off the line of scrimmage. If they're not able to do that, this Gardner Webb front will put a lot of pressure on you. We've already seen it on 2 of the 3 passing attempts we've seen out of Fowler tonight.
Second and 10 for North Carolina A&T. The handoff to Baker, and he is stood upright and brought down immediately by Bryce Bass.
Yeah, they're really high on Bryce Bass. Comes in having made 13 tackles for the season. He's a guy that can make some plays. Another one of these both of these teams, when you really look at A&T and Gardner Webb and you study their rosters, they're very, very young football teams. Although Gardner Webb did play a few ball games in the spring this year. But this is a team that's very aggressive. They try to make plays on defense, and yet now the Aggies are faced with another 3rd and long situation.
3rd and 9 for North Carolina A&T. But you're right, Stan, that front featuring Bryce Bass and Ty French, lethal in the years to come. Fowler looking downfield. And he's able to find Warren, and that will be good for another North Carolina A&T first down.
And a great job that time by Fowler reading the blitz. They brought both linebackers. And he does a nice job standing in the pocket, waiting for the route to develop and finding Warren across the middle enough for the first down. Very good recognition and a good job by the offensive line of A&T to recognize, give him some time. He puts a strike there.
Jalen Fowler so far managing the game well. It'll be a pistol formation for North Carolina A&T here on first down. The Aggies keep it on the ground. Baker picks up some speed. He's across the 20 and is taken down at the 17-yard line.
Nice job at the line of scrimmage of finding a hole for Baker. He just kind of reads it, does a really nice job finding his way and picking up an extra 5 or 10 yards that he normally wouldn't have gotten.
It'll bring up another first down for North Carolina A&T. Baker, the motion man. Play action to the end zone, and Hunt can't come down with it.
Wow. This had problems on it from the initial play. You did a nice little quick out. Hunt, fortunately, is able to go up on his ladder at 6'3". Had the matchup he wanted against Maxie Buckner. But Buckner goes about 6 feet tall. He nearly had a catch, and you had an interception, nearly had a catch there. But I think that's a play that you'll see, A&T come back to it. We'll see if Chris Barnett later on will look at that. I think he got the matchup that he wanted on the outside.
It appears there was a penalty on the play. As this one gets backed up, it was a hold, so it will be 1st and 20 for North Carolina A&T. The marker set up at the 8. It's a reverse. Tootin has Fowler blocking for him, and he's dragged down from behind by Ty French, the All-America candidate.
Tootin on the carry.
Ty French, and he is. It's a preseason all-conference performer. He's going to probably make somebody second or third team All-America this year. Just does a great job from his defensive end position, chasing down Tootin. And that doesn't happen a whole lot where somebody gets Tootin from behind. This is a very speedy defensive front. They play a 4-2-5, and you're going to see a lot of guys making some plays, especially from the linebacker and defensive end positions for Gardner Webb.
2nd and 17. That was a broken play, and it results in Fowler getting taken down by a pack of dogs.
Someplace, somewhere, there was a miscommunication on that. Not sure if it's going to be a dive, a straight dive, or some read option play, but nevertheless, Fowler was kind of left holding the bag and maybe just got enough to the line of scrimmage.
3rd and long for North Carolina A&T. The Aggies this season converting just 37.5% of their third down opportunities.
Now, you don't want to take yourself out of field goal position, but something I want to mention after this play, before it happens.
Fowler looking deep, heaves one to the end zone. And Ron Hunt can't get there. It was a little long from Fowler, and it'll bring up 4th down for the Aggies.
Another situation where Fowler's got maybe a little more time than he had. His initial read was a little slant across the top with Tootin, and Tootin was there, and he didn't look at him. He throws it deep in the corner. But this is something to keep in mind. Brown, who was so accurate, got off to such a great start, has missed his last 5 field goal attempts. We're well within his range. And again, if there's been a great spot special teams-wise, it's been the kicking of Mr. Brown. We'll see what he can do this time.
It's a 40-yard field goal attempt for Brown. This one's up. And it's good. He splits the uprights for the 9th time this season. North Carolina A&T leads it 3-0 over Gardner Webb. We're back after this on ESPN. Greensboro, North Carolina. North Carolina A&T takes a 3-0 lead on an Andrew Brown 40-yard field goal.
Yeah, he had missed a couple of kicks. Like I said, his last 5 kicks had not been very accurate. In some cases, one was partially blocked and had 2 games where he didn't kick the ball. So Andrew Brown has been that big A&T weapon, especially early in some ball games. You think back to the North Carolina Central game, he gets a field goal early to get him started. You think back to the game against both North Alabama and Robert Morris. He scores early for you. He's a great weapon to have. And the great thing about it, if you're an Aggie fan, he's only a freshman.
from right down the road in Lexington, North Carolina. The long on the season, 49 yards for Andrew Brown.
You can get you some barbecue, go see him kick the ball, and come on back home and all in full sweep day. Not long. Here we go.
End over end for Brown. And it's fielded by Dexter Brown. He'll take it across the 20 where he's tripped up at the 25. So no harm in taking it to the 25. And here comes the Gardner Webb offense led by Bailey Fisher, the junior transfer from Tennessee Tech.
They'll give you 3-4 wide receivers, but the highlight player is number 22, Gaither.
Play action. Fisher lets it fly. Tons of contact, and Najee Reams able to knock that one out.
Yeah, and they're going to get Reams for, they'll probably say maybe pass interference, but it was definitely a hole. You could see the jersey tugged as the receiver was en route.
Justin Jordan was the intended target, and there's a flag on the field.
Defensive holding, number 20, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And there's the white cap, Riley Johnson, giving us the call today.
Yeah, you could easily see that, and it happened obviously in front of the Gardner Webb bench. So they were yelling and screaming. The moment you could see jersey being tugged out of uniform, easy call. But again, this is something that's got to concern you for North Carolina A&T. They're giving up like almost 200 yards a ball game in the air, 8th best in the conference. This is a very solid passing team.
Fisher to the air again, and this time another flag. It was intended for Darius Hugh, the sophomore from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
They're going to get Reams again on the pass interference.
North Carolina A&T secondary, as you mentioned, Stan, has been the weak spot on this team.
And Evan, if you see this, the ball is up, enough pressure.
And the game plan today appears to be pick on Najee Reams for Bailey Fisher and the Bulldogs.
Well, they've got 3 or 4 excellent receivers, this Gardner Webb team. Justin Franklin is a leading receiver in this team. Justin Jordan, who was intended a moment ago. And they've got a tight end in DeLand Thomas, who I think has a possibility of being an all-conference first or second teamer. But, yeah, you can see the game plan. Put it in the air.
2nd and 10 from midfield. The Bulldogs keep it on the ground. Gaither taken down a yard shy of the line of scrimmage.
And if you're at Gardner Webb, the game plan has got to be executed, though. Keep the ball in the air. Make your 2nd and 3rd down plays very short, because it's very difficult. As easy as it has been to throw on the Aggies, it's very difficult to run on them. They've held 6 teams this year under 100 yards rushing. So, again, Gardner Webb doesn't want to put Gaither, if he's going to be your main ball carrier, in 2nd and 7s and 8s and 9s and more than that.
3rd and 11 now for the Bulldogs. Fisher, flush from the pocket, throws, completes the pass, and Skanes is able to escape. He's to the 30 and is taken down deep in Aggie territory.
Kayvon Skanes, another one of those young but big receivers that this Gardner Webb team has. And they just brought him out on a little in route, and then comes back underneath and is able to catch the ball. And take a look, roll the quarterback out of the pocket, just sits down there. Now watch at the end of this play. Does he get his hands up there? May not can see it because the side judge's in the way, but it might have been a little bit of a face mask. Oh, yeah, it was. Might have been both players.
The pitch to the wing, taken by Gaither, and he's shoved out of bounds in the red zone.
Gaither on the carry. Pushed out of bounds by number 5, Richie Kittles.
And the Runnin' Bulldogs offense has had its way here in the early going of this ball game.
Well, they are the number 2 offense in the Sun Belt Conference, averaging a shade under 30 points a ball game. So they can score the football. It's going to be your offense versus our defense if you're an Aggie fan.
Play action. Fisher winds up and is taken down in the backfield. Shamari Wallace, the junior from Hope Mills, North Carolina.
Wow, has he been playing some good football as of late? Had a sack against Monmouth on homecoming day. Had another sack 2 weeks ago in their win against Charleston Southern. And this North Carolina A&T defense continues to make the big plays. They've had some struggles at times, but you see one of the reasons why this is still one of the best defenses in the country.
Well, they take after their head coach, Sam Washington, who wasn't a bad defender himself in the NFL. Empty set now for Fisher. The quick throw. That one complete. And it's taken by James Ellis III, the Greensboro, North Carolina native, playing back home.
And you know he's happy to be home. And again, 3 and 4 wide receivers. They run 2 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. The secondary receiver goes inside, and it leaves him wide open on the corner. Nice pass by Bailey, and even a better catch that time. Again, keeping the drive going. Nice catch for Ellis.
Gardner Webb slowing things down a little bit. Fisher going to survey the field. Bailey Fisher came over with Trey Lamb from Tennessee Tech. The handoff to Gaither. Nowhere for him to go. That door closed up.
Gaither on the carry, stopped by a host of.
It'll bring up 4th down in the field goal unit, trotting onto the field for Gardner Webb.
Good safe play for Gardner Webb. Wow, how impressive would it be for them to answer back from the Aggie field goal? They've got a pretty solid kicker in McKay. Comes in having made 5 out of 7 from field goal range. This should be a nice chip shot for him.
His long 36 on the year. 31-yard attempt. This one blocked by North Carolina A&T and picked up by the Aggies. Down the sideline. It's Kittles, and he'll take it into the end zone.
You need your teams to make plays when you're struggling. Of course, it's going to be a sure shot field goal. I blocked, couldn't see exactly who got their hands on it, but I know Kittles has got the ball at the play. And away we go with a convoy of blue shirts there. Aggies on the board, but is there a flag? Is there a flag? Or did he step out of bounds?
It looks like he may have stepped out of bounds. And a flag came out. We're going to take a timeout. We'll recap it for you here on the other side of this timeout.
Because the only way is through.
Back with you here in Greensboro. A bobbled snap, and North Carolina A&T is now set very far back into their own territory after the block kick for a touchdown gets waved off.
And I apologize, not exactly sure, did not hear the official. I wanted to say that they stepped out of bounds, and it wasn't. There was an ill-fated block, but I don't think that connected. Nevertheless, Aggies on their first play out of shotgun have trouble, and so it's on there a long 2nd down and 26.
Fowler over the middle finds Warren, and he is planted at the 40-yard line.
And it almost looks like Fowler's accepted the fact he's got to get the ball out of his hands because of the pressure that he's seeing by Gardner Webb, and Warren is being the benefactor of that. A couple of little inside routes, get some good catches. Make this 3rd down manageable if you're North Carolina A&T.
Brings up 3rd and 17 for North Carolina A&T.
See if Gardner Webb brings some pressure now.
Fowler. Flush from the pocket, and he's tracked down from behind. It's Shy Thomas.
Shy Thomas, another one of those outstanding defensive linemen for this Gardner Webb team. Comes in with 49 sacks, 49 tackles. That'll be his 4th sack. But a lot away from the play, Jamari Nelson, who's a right cornerback, came up in man pressure. They were trying to go a little outright. We may not see that, but you can see the pressure by Shy. Comes out there. He, along with some others, the Bulldog family, comes in and makes a big-time stop. And A&T having a lot of trouble get their offense right there. Charlie Jackson also on the tackle.
Rivers just gets the punt off. Fair catch signaled for and secured by Skanes.
At the 30-yard line.
We'll take a timeout. We're back after these messages on ESPN 3.
Basketball season.
Back with you here in Greensboro, North Carolina. North Carolina A&T leads at 3-0 over Gardner Webb as Bailey Fisher and the Bulldogs offense back on the field. The throw out to Gaither over a defender, and he breaks free down the sideline. A flag comes in late.
Fisher's pass is complete.
And it looks like another one flew in after the play as well.
There is a flag on the play.
Well, I'll tell you what, before the play, you saw one of the things that Coach Washington was so fearful of is getting Gaither out in the open field. I don't see there's going to be 2 penalties. There's going to be one on Gardner Webb. I got a feeling for either a block in the back or a hold. And I'm not certain about the other one from A&T. That could have been a personal foul. We'll take a look.
There are 2 fouls on the play, one during the play and then one after the play. During the play, holding by the offense, that's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. After the play was out of bounds, dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense, 15-yard penalty will be added on to the penalty administration. First down.
Okay, so that was pretty well self-explained. So what you'll do is, where the flag was thrown for the hold, you'll take 10 yards back from there, and I can't sure, maybe right there, 84. And then after the play, clearly out of bounds, and there's a late hit. So they'll mark it off from the 10 yards from the hold and then bring it back. So we'll just have to see where exactly they're going to mark this. But Gardner Webb, I think, had a first down on the pass play to Gaither.
Nari Gaither came into today averaging 127.6 all-purpose yards per game, good for 14th in the country.
A bunch of receptions in a couple of games early. Got 32 receptions going in this ball game for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. And so they try to look at different ways to get him the football. And so with all that done, all that said, it's still going to be first down at midfield for the Bulldogs.
Fisher takes the snap off the ground, rolls out, under pressure, throws. That one is complete at around the 35-yard line to Skanes, and that'll be good for another Bulldogs first down.
Well, you're getting your quarterback outside the pocket, and Bailey, and he's got some time to throw it, and you've got an underneath tight end, which was Thomas, and the guy coming across the line of scrimmage, coming to formation. Take a look. There's the play, and you can see the receiver going across your screen, and Skanes has another catch for the day. That's 3 on the day, I think.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Gardner Webb, and that will do it for the end of the first quarter. North Carolina A&T leads Gardner Webb 3-0. We'll take a timeout. We're back after this on ESPN 3. Back with you here in Greensboro. To the second quarter we go, as North Carolina A&T leads Gardner Webb 3-0 after the first period of play. Gardner Webb moving the ball, but after that block kick, just unable to put anything on the board.
But you know the funny thing, I watched their bench. They weren't deterred by that. They came back to have defensive stop, and they've got the ball again.
Fisher to the outside. He finds Jordan, and he is driven back, but forward progress will give him a gain of a few.
Courtney Cord, defensive coordinator for the Aggies, is going to be tested in his staff today because this is a team that stretches the field. And they use their receivers different ways. They use their backs as receivers. They block. They're going to reverse. And they today, being the last game of the season, they're going to use everything out of the bag of tricks. Don't be surprised if you see some reverse passes. And, again, at some point in time, sending Gaither down the side.
On 2nd and 6, a broken play Fisher trying to fight back to the line of scrimmage, and he'll be dropped a couple of inches shy.
Yeah, Gaither looks like he stumbled and then just went down. Might have been some kind of read option again. Again, this is a quarterback in Fisher that's not afraid to run the football. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. They felt like they had something going. So far, Gardner Webb 1 out of 2 on third down conversion. It's a team that was 9th best on the season in third down conversion with a shade under 30%. The defensive staff of the Aggies.
3rd and 7 for Gardner Webb. Fisher dropping back under pressure. Throws this one to the corner, and it is incomplete as the intended receiver, Darius Hugh, could not get there in time.
And a good job that time of fighting off the offensive player, that being Hugh, by Najee Reams. He's been picked on earlier a couple of times, so they must have seen something technique-wise. I wouldn't continue to throw in Reams' direction. You got a feeling he's going to make the play, but that time, good coverage by Reams.
4th down, and Gardner Webb going for it. Having converted 48% of their 4th down attempts. The throw down the sideline is hauled in. Touchdown, Gardner Webb. Justin Jordan, the grad transfer from Stetson.
Wow.
Defense number 50. That penalty's the clock, and the results of the play.
And a good job by the offensive line of holding your water. Devin Harrell jumps offside for the Aggies, and you see the flag, and they play through it. And a nice pass and an even better catch. I think in college, remember this too, you only need to have 1 foot in bounds. And Justin Jordan, a local kid from South Point High School in Belmont, gets his 2nd touchdown reception of the year.
Austin McKay on for the extra point. Riley Johnston, our white cap, waiting for the word from the replay official. Everything is good on the play, and we can continue. Splits the uprights, and it's 7-3. Gardner Webb on top of North Carolina A&T. We head to a timeout here on ESPN 3. Back with you here in Greensboro. Gardner Webb takes a 7-3 lead on a tremendous play on 4th down. The little trickeration.
Bring the guy out, tricks him out. Harold jumps offside. Does he have a foot? Oh, yeah, easy. Easy.
North Carolina A&T trying to give itself some better field position, and Tootin stays up on the first attempt and is taken down shy of the 20. So the Aggies will have their work cut out for them here on this drive. Jalen Fowler coming back out.
Well, this is really easy right now. If you're A&T, you've got to go out and execute. And that's the bottom line. I mean, you know, you have an outside, you have a penalty, you have a late hit penalty. You know, you block a kick, somebody either block in the back, you don't score off that. Offensively, you've been inefficient in a lot of ways. So, again, this is about blocking and tackling and catching and running.
Jermaine Martin has re-entered the ball game, and he'll take the handoff. Able to scamper ahead for about 5.
And few have run the football better than Jermaine Martin in his history at North Carolina A&T. And you were talking about it at the beginning of the season. I mean, yeah, he's been nicked up a little bit this year in less than 500 yards rushing. But what a phenomenal career going into the day. 407 carries, over 2,500 yards. And the thing that's so great, 34 touchdowns on his career. That's a heck of a career. And he's done it in basically 2.5 seasons.
The injured season this year hasn't deterred the NFL scouts. They've been out at practice watching him. He is going to get a shot at the next level.
He should. 5'10", 220, speed and power.
Fowler on the run. That one is dropped by Cook. Tried to turn upfield before he could grab it.
And that was a similar formation, and you had Martin kind of seeping out of the backfield, so it's a two-layer running route, or passing route, I should say. And you've got the short underneath, and you've got the guy deep. And the deep guy, Cook, has a nice catch. This should be a catch. There's one. There's your second. Ball's dropped right in there, and that's one that's got to be caught.
It'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Aggies. Fowler has plenty of time, looking downfield. Pressure on, he throws, and that one is knocked away after Janathan Turner gave chase from behind, the 6'3", 306-pound senior.
Janathan Turner is a man. Okay, don't ever mistake it. 307 pounds, 34 tackles on a year, but a nice job, again, and we've called his name a couple of times today, and Buckner does a great job deflecting that pass. Fowler having to look at his first, second, and third receiver, and there just seems to be just a little bit of indecisiveness by Fowler in which way, what his reads are. Find a read, make a play, or either run the football, and a good defensive play by Buckner.
Rivers on to kick this one away. A booming punt. Skanes retreats, surveys, and will just fall to the grass here at Truist Stadium.
What an outstanding kick by Michael Rivers. Had a chance to talk to him the other day at the Aggies media luncheon and just talking about what he's able to do and how much work he gets in. You can tell that this guy knows how to kick the football.
Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
Tires is the official tire of the Big South Conference, and for over 65 years has been providing tires with unbeatable quality at an unmatched value. Whatever the vehicle and whatever the terrain, Hercules Tires invites you to ride on our strength. For a retailer near you, visit HerculesTires.com. Back to the action here as Gaither plows ahead, keeps the pile moving, and is across the 30.
Wow, Gaither doesn't take a long time to get to the hole. And this is an offensive line in Gardner Webb that's not as big as some you'll see, but they're very quick and they're very fundamentally sound.
Play action. Gaither keeps it, and he's swallowed up by that defensive front. Michael Branch in there first.
Again on the carry.
And there is an injured Aggie down on the field. So 11:38 to play here in the second. 7-3, Gardner Webb on top. And we'll take a break as the training staff tends to the injured Aggie. We're back after this on ESPN3.
By analyzing everything from player stats to expert opinions, Watson cuts through the noise to deliver game-changing insights.
Boomer Bust says C.D. Lamb is good.
Mountain Dew is charged for anything that may happen on game day, so grab yourself an ice-cold Mountain Dew, cheer your team on, and enjoy the game. We know our fans are the best fans. Do the Dew. As DeLand Thomas will take the grab and work to the outside, and now a late flag flies in.
That underneath route with the tight end option is something that I think Gardner Webb will use a lot today.
Personal foul. Late hit, number 21 on the defense. 15-yard penalty added on to the end of the run. First down.
That was Miguel Salahuddin, the Pittsburgh transfer, former four-star running back out of H.D. Woodson High School in Washington, D.C.
And the discipline, and we talked about it earlier, the execution. You've got to be able to have it in a game like this, and those are those ill-timed penalties, not necessary, and it just keeps the drive going for Gardner Webb off a nice positive pass play.
The handoff to Gaither with a full head of steam, and he's taken down at the 32. You mentioned the discipline, Stan. North Carolina A&T 115th in the nation in fewest penalties out of 123.
Yeah, they've had some, and that's one of those. That's one of those penalties. Again, you've had two of them. Outside the white line, you continue to play, but give a lot of credit right now to this offensive line of Gardner Webb.
Fisher rolls out, pump fakes, throws, finds Gaither, and he will gain about a yard. Nari Gaither has an all-around game.
Yeah, I like him, and we've talked about it, and everybody's talked this season. You talk about the power over Jermaine Martin. This guy's got some power, goes about 180 pounds, but he also got speed. And his ability to catch the football is something I think will give him an opportunity to continue to play at the next level.
3rd and 2 for the Bulldogs. The handoff, Gaither tries again, reaches, and I'm not sure he got there.
I think he's got to be short just a little bit, but you get an example right there of the power these guys, the Aggie defenders. You're talking about Kaba and Daniel, among others. They're in there trying to make a play and not quite able to bring him down. Robert Poche, 94, also involved in the play. Remember what they did on their last 4th down long situation a few moments ago from a similar place on the field. They were able to get A&T offsides. The Aggies kind of stopped for a second, and they get a touchdown out of this. Here we go.
4th and 2.
Tight, 3 wide.
Fisher has to work quickly. Drops it off to Gaither, who makes the grab. Did he get enough for the first? I don't think he did on the initial spot.
I think the line to gain is the 28. There's a little screenplay, perfectly executed. This could have gone for 6 had not been underthrown. And I think he's going to be short, Spencer.
He is, and it is a turnover on downs. And Stan, you know why it was so hard to figure out what was going on? The orange sleeve on the first down marker got ripped up on the play over on the sideline. It's
find
just
the down
a bare
box.
bone stick.
Yes. Well, that's a big stop, whether you can find it or not. That's a huge stop if you're an A&T fan. And a play that could have gone big for Gardner Webb. So A&T's able to get the ball on downs, and can this offense get going?
So Jermaine Martin in the backfield with Jalen Fowler. Wachuku, the motion man. The handoff. Martin bounces outside. Breaks through the first tackle and is tripped up at the 38.
It was a nice job by Martin, being patient, letting the play develop, continue to bounce and bounce and bounce to the outside. Gardner Webb is a little slow trying to set the edge, and Martin takes full advantage of it for about 7 to 8 yard pickup.
Brings up 2nd and 1 for North Carolina A&T. Martin spins out of the tackle and earns himself a first down.
Ricky Lee, 63. Cesar Monero, 68. Kari Wilson, 55. The offensive line, those guys on that left side doing a nice job finding a hole for him. DeJure Simpson, 74. A&T running behind those guys on the left side. Ali at 75 playing his last ball game, the right tackle.
Some late substitutions by North Carolina A&T. Nick Dobson and Jamison Warren sent out there.
Who I think could be a weapon today in Dobson.
Martin takes it and is stood up at the line of scrimmage. That front four for Gardner Webb, awfully tough.
Well, you talk about it. We mentioned it earlier. Janathan Turner goes about 307, 310 pounds, and he's a load to move at that nose. And then you go inside there with Willie Harris. These are some guys that take up some space. Charles Jackson, number 92 inside. This is a team that you're going to have to kind of beat them with some speed to the outside. Don't forget about Shai Thomas, the zero man.
2nd and 10 for North Carolina A&T. The high snap brought down. Baker runs out of real estate, and Shai Thomas drills him.
Baker on the
Cy Thomas having a fun afternoon. This is just Saturday afternoon in the backyard when you were a kid, and let me see if I can make some plays. Kid from down in Anderson, South Carolina, not far from Gardner Webb at Hannah High, and he don't really care. He lines up on that defensive end spot. He's a rush end that can drop in coverage, and you keep an eye on zero, and he comes and just chases the play down on the backside.
Hannah High School, of course, known for the movie Radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Head coach Harold Jones and James Robert Radio Kennedy. It'll be 3rd and 11. Fowler under pressure, and he sacked. Ty French, the sophomore, in there to take him down.
Fowler sacked on the play by number 47.
Man. And you got to give a lot of credit to the defensive secondary of Gardner Webb. They're making it very difficult for the Aggie offensive players to get in position, and then they're just bringing the rush. They're bringing the heat. And Ty French, another preseason All-American player for Gardner Webb, comes in and makes his 8th sack, 3rd best in the Big South.
Rivers on to punt. He had a beautiful booming kick last time he was on the field. This one a tad wobbly, and it'll take a Gardner Webb roll out of bounds at around the 31.
And I'm not certain, Spence, that ball didn't hit an Aggie offensive player on the way out.
We're back after this.
Can't handle it.
Bailey Fisher and the Bulldogs back out on the field, holding a 7-3 lead. Play action, the delay pass is complete as Justin Jordan able to haul it in over the middle. He's had himself a nice day, Stan.
This is a rhythm offense. They're a quick 3-step and get the ball out of your hand. Fisher's doing a great job, and the receivers are doing an excellent job holding on the balls.
The handoff goes to Jones. And he is bottled up and brought down at midfield. I got to tell you, Stan, Bailey Fisher has quite the quarterback coach to work with him in Taylor Lamb, the record-setting App State quarterback.
Had a chance to watch Taylor Lamb do some of his games at Appalachian over the seasons. His dad, Bobby Lamb, was a coach, at Mercer, among other places. So quarterbacking is something that's in their blood, and he has done a nice job with this guy, Fisher.
Ellis drops the football, and it's picked up by North Carolina A&T. It's Stephen Davis Jr. who takes it to the house.
When your offense is sputtering, the defense has got to step up, and that's one thing that's been constant. Big hit right here, and then there's Davis that picks it up. Reams, the guy that's been picked on a few times a day, makes the hit. Davis picks it up and takes it to the house, and the Aggies are back on the board.
Stephen Davis, of course, the son of NFLer Stephen Davis. Played 11 seasons for the Carolina Panthers and the St. Louis Rams, and he was running and running and running. And it's 9-7 North Carolina A&T. Out on the field to kick right now, it's Reginald Rogers. And this one is good. So the backup place kicker able to get the job done for A&T, make it 10-7. As you see, Davis scooped it up and brought it into the house. It was a 52-yard return to the promised land. So 10-7, North Carolina A&T on top, and defensive touchdowns have been aplenty for North Carolina A&T. Two blocked punts for touchdowns, a pick six. Earlier in the game, a block kick for six that got taken back, and now it was a fumble recovered for a touchdown.
Yeah, this is their 5th defensive touchdown of the season, and you're doing that and you're making plays. And winning or losing, record or not, when your defense can make some plays and get some possessions like that, that's gonna help everybody. And again, the A&T offense not picking on them, but they have struggled a little bit. But the defense has stepped up and made a play. And if you want to make Sam Washington really smile over the season, talk about the defense being aggressive. It's a defense that really hasn't forced a lot of turnovers. I think they came into this ball game at a -1 in the turnover margin. So again, they evened that up. But that was a huge one to maybe get some more excitement for this Aggie defense, and a tough break for Gardner Webb.
This one fielded by Jones, back deep. And he is bottled up and brought down.
And number 8.
Excuse me, that's actually Crankfield who was back there. Go ahead and brought it back, and we have an injured Aggie down on the field.
Now, if you're Gardner Webb, you've got to be encouraged that you're able to move the football against this A&T defense. Yes, they made the big play, but, you take away the block kick and you take away that fumble, and they were driving in. Gardner Webb has done all the things they have to do to win this football game. So it'll be interesting to see what type of adjustments, if any, they make in the second half. But I feel like the quick drops, getting the ball in the open field for your outstanding running back Gaither, and they've already used like 4 different receivers on the afternoon, that are the Bulldogs. They've had some offensive success. They've had some bad breaks.
Fisher will come on and try and lead the drive with 4:45 to go here in the first half.
First down and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 27.
Play action. Fisher rolls out and hits the man wide open along the far side. It's Justin Franklin, the freshman from Douglasville, Georgia.
Yeah, they just run a little wheel route and try to get Franklin down the sideline. He's matched up against a linebacker, and that's a great recognition. It's an easy read, it's an easy throw for quarterback Fisher.
The handoff to Gaither. He's bottled up and slammed down to the ground.
The thing that's been so concerning about this Gardner Webb team, can they put back-to-back positive plays together, and this time nowhere to go inside. Henry Daniel, who's had a very nice freshman season, comes up with the big stop.
Gardner Webb tried catching North Carolina A&T on its heels on that play, working quickly. And now the Bulldogs will slow things up on 2nd and 14. Fisher unloads towards the sideline, and that one broken up by Najee Reams.
By number 20, Najee Reams.
And we've called that name a lot this afternoon, and Najee Reams made the big hit a few moments ago. They got the Davis fumble recovery. He started the game with deep pass interference and a hold call, but that time he responds.
Reams, a young man that moved from the free safety position to corner with all the injuries on the Aggie defense.
And a guy that can come up and make the play. You can tell he's got that free safety nature. Comes up and makes a big hit.
Fisher on 3rd down. Throws over the seam. That one hits the ground and is incomplete. The intended receiver was Skanes.
Nice play call on 3rd down. Had Skanes on a little bit of a deep seam route. And this ball, again, there have been a couple of passes today where receivers have just not brought the ball into their body. One for Gardner Webb, one for North Carolina A&T. But Skeen definitely should have been able to catch that pass. Nice throw by the quarterback, Mr. Fisher.
Pawlowski on to punt this one away. Bashal Tootin stands around the 9-yard line awaiting the punt. Pawlowski gets the kickoff. It's a high boomer. And Tootin will call for the fair catch at the 6. And it will be North Carolina A&T ball. 1st and 10 from its own 6-yard line with 3:36 to go in the half.
And Spencer, if you're A&T, you just want to try to grind this thing out and get to the half. I mean, Sam Washington will tell you, I'm happy with my defense. They've kept them out of the end zone other than that one play. And you're A&T, you're very fortunate that you aren't behind further than where you are. And if you're Gardner Webb, you're looking at those missed opportunities. You know, you didn't convert on third down a moment ago. You've had a block kick. You had a fumble return, but yet you're still in the football game. Remember, what was it? They've come into this ball game at a 90-10 deficit the 2 games that they played each other. Now, granted, it's been a couple of years, but still, you know, that's the kind of thing that makes the headlines.
And Gardner Webb has been in this position plenty this season, just 1 or 2 plays short, as Ifedi is into the game for North Carolina A&T as the quarterback.
And you remember how impressive Kingsley Ifedi was getting the late start against Duke way back in early September, and really was the most efficient offensive weapon for the Aggies. Ran for 15 carries at 83 yards and the only 2 touchdowns of the afternoon against the Blue Devils.
And he played a lot last week at South Carolina State, 8 for 18, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 carries as well in that ball game. So the ECU transfer will hand the ball off to Jermaine Martin. He's able to lean ahead for another first down. Jermaine Martin looks like he's finally starting to get healthy.
Yeah, just picking and choosing his spots and then exploding. But did you see how easy it is to run your offense if you're A&T and most any teams, but especially A&T, because they want to run the football. When you pick up 4, 5, 6 yards on first down, it makes your second down call so much easier.
1st and 10 for the Aggies. Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining here in the first half. Ifedi fakes, quarterback keeper now. He'll follow the offensive line and is ahead for about 6. And that's where Kingsley Ifedi is so difficult to tame. If he can't throw it, he is a liability to go ahead and just try and run it and make something out of nothing.
Well, on that impressive 20-play touchdown drive that the Aggies had in September against Duke, Ifedi ran the ball, I think, 8 of those 20 times for positive yards and eventually got the 2-yard touchdown.
Brings up 2nd and 4. The jet sweep. Tootin turns it upfield. He's got some blocks and plenty of green grass ahead of him. To the 30, the 20, the 10, and he's dragged down from behind. It's Deontay Greer who came and was able to track down the freshman Tootin.
Well, Tootin does an absolutely great job in taking a negative play and turning it positive, but there was a hold.
Number 81 on the offense.
And Ron Hunt
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
is going to get called for the hold. Penalties continue to be costly, Stan.
Yeah, and we can't see. Let's see if we can see Hunt, 81. Does a great job breaking away from Luther. And you can see right there at the end of the screen, he gets his hands just out. And it's really hard to tell from this angle sometimes if there's a block or your arm's in, if your arms are out, what happens down the field.
And how about Deontay Greer, who was being held, able to still get down there and track down Tootin?
That's a great hustle play. You don't give up on the play.
Brings up 2nd and 13. Baker. And he's ahead for the first down.
And if you're A&T, that's a good way. You bounce back. You have what could have been a touchdown play. You get a big tackle, but then you come back after the adversity of the hole and just go right back into your game plan. And how huge would this be for A&T and what momentum it would give them for the second half if they're able to score, get a touchdown in this final 122.
It's a little extra breathing room heading into the locker room. Ifedi drops it off to Baker. Has some blockers ahead of him. Still chugging, and forward progress is stopped as he's chucked to the ground.
Jamari Brown at the end of the play
30-second timeout.
brings the receiver down. Don't quick really tell if it was late or not because you couldn't hear the whistle blow. The offensive player was still in motion to move. So let's take a look at the end of the play. Baker does a great job avoiding contact. Let's keep our eye on the end of the play, number 3. Still moving. Forward progress is now, I would say, stopped. The pile is still going, so maybe he's still going, and that takes him down. And nothing bad about that. I've seen it flagged, but I'm okay with that.
Jamari Brown, the Miami, Florida native,
You don't seem so convinced.
No, I think it was fine. I don't think it was anything that definitely had to be flagged. I think that everything's been pretty good so far with
his
officiating.
his forward progress was stopped, but yet he continued to move, and the Powell moved again. So that's what gave it the secondary play.
It'll bring up 2nd and 7 for North Carolina A&T following the timeout. So 2 timeouts remaining for the Aggies. Ifedi to the sideline. That one almost intercepted by Malachi Buckner. Buckner with 5 interceptions on the season already.
One of the best in the country. And this ball just laid out just a little too slow getting out on the outright. Buckner nearly picked it off. Remember, he had a big defensive play earlier in a one-on-one matchup in the first quarter.
It'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Aggies from the 41.
And remember that Gardner Webb deferred, so they'll get the second half kickoff. So you can get a stop, maybe get something in your offense and score. That gives you the extra boost that you need. So we'll see.
Ifedi. And he goes nowhere.
And guess who? Guess who the initial contact was? Once again, Mr. Buckner.
Brings up 4th down for the Aggies on the punt. Number 47, Michael Rivers.
4th and the long 7. Take a look at number 1. Initial contact there inside. Buckner kind of comes in there and cleans up the things. But again, Ty French, along with his friends, in there making tackles. And again, this is a very, very aggressive, hard-hitting Gardner Webb Bulldog defense.
And the Bulldogs have called the timeout to stop the clock at 58 seconds, which gives Gardner Webb a chance to potentially come down and either score a touchdown or kick a field goal, tie or take the lead, and then get the ball back for a 2-for-1 scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And you're thinking about what field goal range is. McKay, their primary kicker, his long of the season was against Charlotte. He had a 45-yarder, so he's got the leg. They're going to have to get this ball maybe inside maybe the 30, 35-yard line to give him a legitimate distance to kick it, and that was early in the season, so you got to feel like the leg has gotten a little stronger since early September, but that's plays down the line. If you're A&T, you want Rivers to get another booming kickoff, pin them deep, and then make Gardner Webb make the decision of how they want to play this.
So Gardner Webb with 2 timeouts remaining. Scanes back deep to receive. Rivers understood the assignment. And that one, the fair catch signaled at the 10, so a 90-yard field for the Bulldogs to work with.
At the Bulldog 10-yard line.
50 seconds, 2 timeouts to go. And 90 yards to travel to pay dirt.
Now, they've had success, Gardner Webb, in the little the out routes. So A&T's going to try to take that away, and a lot of times that obviously leaves the middle wide open. And so you can get 10, 15, 20 yards, get on the field, use a timeout, and still yet be in field goal position. It'll be interesting to see how they run this. 3 wides to the top of the screen.
Gaither tries to round the corner, and he is undercut and taken down at the 15.
Looks like another Aggie down on the play.
Stop made by number 5, Richie Kittles.
Kittles on the stop. 37 seconds left.
This also qualifies for
and a timeout on the field because of the injured Aggie, and that will stop the clock on the run play.
It's interesting deep in your territory that Gardner Webb, instead of a short pass or something, trying to stretch the defense, thinking A&T was playing for pass, tried to run the ball, get the ball in one of their better players' hands.
Let's put 27 seconds.
There's the head coach, Trey Lamb, in his second season. Came over from Tennessee Tech, brought Bailey Fisher with him, the second youngest head coach in Division I football.
Yeah, he's got a great upside, and they have changed the spirit of a proud Gardner Webb program. NAIA in Division II and now in the Big South, and they've had some success. Remember, we said they played in the spring, won a few games there, and they've got the ability. It's just a matter of time right now, and you're building a program. And just as A&T is now learning this conference, Gardner Webb is also recruiting and developing what they've got to do to be able to compete. With bar none, nationally ranked, the best teams in the conference have been Kennesaw State this year and Monmouth. They haven't disappointed, but you've got some teams in this conference such as A&T, such as Hampton. Robert Morris is a team that's going to be a team to be reckoned with. Charleston Southern as well. So you've got some things that you can watch as they're going to let the clock wind down, and the half will be over, and we've got one half of football left. The last half of the season's coming up soon.
North Carolina A&T leads Gardner Webb 10-7 as we reach halftime here in Greensboro, North Carolina. We'll take a timeout, come back after this, and recap the first half right here on ESPN 3.
At the University of Houston and joined the Navy.
Back at Truist Stadium in Greensboro, North Carolina. North Carolina A&T leading Gardner Webb 10-7 at the half. Spencer Turkin alongside my partner Stan Luter. Back and forth we went, and the defense ended up in the end zone for the Aggies.
This is a what-if quarter. What if they wouldn't score? What if you hadn't blocked the kick? What if you hadn't had the fumble? A lot of things there. Offensively, A&T has struggled, less than 100 yards of total offense. Gardner Webb doing a nice job and has blown some many opportunities, 186 yards of total offense. Both teams offensively have got to step it up. Defense is going to win this football game, and the Aggie defense is not disappointed.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our first half highlights. There were some wild plays in this one.
Yeah, I like what you're seeing out of both teams. And the game just kind of starts off crazy. I mean, what do you want? A block punt, a block kick? I got that. They get off to a nice start with the long field goal, and that's Brown. And Brown's been such a solid player. It's a 14-play drive, Spencer. An offside penalty. Everybody kind of moves. The offensive line does a good job holding their water, and you're able to go deep. And that's Justin Jordan. That concludes a 6-play, 70-yard drive, and it's tied. And then this was the big play. Reams, who's been picked on several times a day, makes the big hit for the Aggies. Gardner Webb fumbles at Stephen Davis, looking like his daddy back in the day. Recovers the fumble, takes it 52 yards, a happy zone. The point after touchdown is made, and the A&T's got the 10-7 lead. But both teams have come up and made some hits this afternoon. Tootin gets hit there, brought down. Remember the names of Ty French and T.J. Luther and T.J. Comstock. These are guys for Gardner Webb to make in plays, not to mention some of the guys there for the Aggies. Defensively, Gardner Webb's done a good job. The passing game has been none the ball pretty much for A&T. They've got to figure out a way to do that. And if both teams will do what they've got to do second half, we should have some fireworks coming for the last half of the last game of the season.
Time for the First Citizens Bank first half statistics. Stan, the offenses were rolling down the field. The defenses, though, did not break much. North Carolina A&T only 81 yards on 32 plays, while Gardner Webb able to scrounge up 186 yards, but really having a hard time finishing those drives.
They have not been able to finish those drives, and those what-ifs. What if you're able to score? What if that kick's not blocked? Interesting thing as you look at this, North Carolina A&T, 3 out of 8 on third down conversions. Gardner Webb, 1 out of 5 on third downs. Neither team really being effective there, but again, a second half of football action yet to come.
10-7, North Carolina A&T on top of Gardner Webb. We'll take a timeout and have the second half coming up next on ESPN 3. Our man. Back with you here in Greensboro, the Blue and Gold Marching Machine. One of the top bands in all the land, according to ESPN's The Undefeated, the #1 HBCU marching band in the country, Stan.
I could have told him that. I
could have made that list.
I could have told him that, and I'm not even being biased. I'm going to shut up a minute and let everybody listen to the band.
Stan, I got to tell you, it's all about the tubas here at North Carolina A&T, you know that they keep that beat going for the blue and gold marching machine.
It might be, but give me that percussion line anytime you want to. Anytime you got it. Let's go.
Stan, it was quite the first half. We saw a lot of unusual plays from both squads, a lot of special teams and defense being played.
Well, you want all three to be in sync, your offense, your defense, and special teams. And you'll have championship teams. And you think about all the winning teams, they always are able to do those things. And A&T has had success, as does Gardner Webb, in being good on special teams. But they had a drive. You thought they had a sure field goal inside of 35 yards. The kick gets blocked. And then, they go the distance. There was a pin. I think they said someone stepped out of bounds, and there was a penalty also. They enforced a step out of bounds before it was a timing mechanism. So that negates the big play for A&T. But then Gardner Webb's able to come down and score, on their next possession, which I thought was very good. Interesting enough, Gardner Webb will get the football back as we begin the second half. And then, the big play just before we end was a Stephen Davis fumble recovery. So, both teams have had an opportunity to score more points. Both teams have been able to play some good, solid D and B, take advantage of some things. And so now both teams have 30 minutes left to go away happy.
The Aggies on to kick this one away. Andrew Brown, the freshman from Lexington, North Carolina, will give it the boot. And Stan, just a quick update for everybody that is following the Big South. Of course, the Big South Championship game on ESPN Plus. Kennesaw State leading Monmouth at the half, 28-10.
They got speed. And that game's in Kennesaw, isn't it?
It is at Kennesaw.
Okay, yeah. You have
Brown
to give him the edge.
Sends this one deep, and it is pulled out of the end zone by Gardner Webb. It was Crankfield who brought it ahead. And Gardner Webb will begin the half from just north of the 20.
And if you're a Gardner Webb fan, you got to be excited that the second most points that they've scored in the half or in the ball game quarters has been in the third quarter, where they've scored 79 of their 291 points. So again, hey, you feel like, all right, here we go. This is our quarter. The first quarter's been their good quarter. And 10 more points, but we'll see what they do. Let's see what the adjustments are. The Gardner Webb's had a lot of success with the short passing game.
Play action. Fisher to Ellis, who can't hold on. Hit his fingertips and dropped.
Perfectly thrown ball, low, and you just short-armed it. And again, that's about the third time this afternoon where a receiver for both teams has had an opportunity to make, a wide receiver type catch.
Puts a 2 in the box with 10 to go from the 24. Fisher going with that hard count. That A&T front four has been a little jumpy over the last few games. The straight handoff to Gaither, and he is tackled from behind after a gain of a few.
What you like about Gaither is his ability to change directions very quickly and get those shoulders and turn upfield. Had 9 carries for 28 yards. And so A&T's pretty much had him corral 4 100-yard-plus rushing games this season. So A&T's done a good job in kind of keeping him contained.
Third down now for the Bulldogs. That throw over the middle, broken up by Davis, who already had the fumble recovery for a touchdown in the first half.
And Ellis is going to think about this all the way back to Bowling Springs, because that was another opportunity. It was he and the football at the same time, and Davis coming in there. Davis makes the big hit to dislodge the ball away from Ellis, and a 3-and-out quickly for the Bulldogs.
It'll be Pawlowski on to give this one a ride. Tootin standing around the 30, awaiting the punt. Pressure, and it's blocked. Covered by Gardner Webb, but A&T going to have tremendous field position. And we're going to get another look at this.
and gets in there and breaks the block. And I think that was Jacob Roberts. And Jacob Roberts, who's had a great season, you use him on special teams, breaks through there and gets an arm and then the shoulder eventually on the kick. And again, what we as fans talk about, what if? What if? Well, there's another what if play, and this time it's for the Aggies.
Jalen Fowler will come back on and lead the offense for North Carolina A&T after Kingsley Ifedi came in relief of Fowler towards the end of the first half.
And I don't know where Sean Gibbs is right now on the field, but he's got to be smiling. The special teams coach, his special teams have stepped up this afternoon.
1st and 10 from the 28. Fowler spins back, finds Dobson. And a flag comes flying in after the tackle. And Stan, you mentioned it earlier that you felt Dobson could be a big part of the game plan.
Well, he's an excellent blocker, and he's able to get downfield. And you saw this little screen play.
10-yard penalty, first down.
I think they're saying it was an ineligible receiver downfield. And on those plays like that, a tendency to have that, the little run dive, you're trying to get in position to block, and you lose track of the line of scrimmage. Yeah, you can see offensive lineman for A&T downfield in a blocking mode before his time. That was Ricky Lee. So another what if?
And another penalty for North Carolina A&T, one of the most penalized teams in the nation. The handoff to Martin, and he gets taken down in the backfield. It's William McGraney, the 12th leading tackler in the nation.
And we haven't talked a lot about McGraney this afternoon. In addition to being an academic scholar, but he has really made it. Look at 5 ball games where he's had 10 tackles or more. I mean, this is a guy that's always around the football. Had 17 against Western Carolina early in the year and followed it up with an 18 when, against Charleston Southern a couple of weeks ago.
And how about this, Dan? Came into the game today leading the Big South in tackles by 14 tackles.
Oh, easily. You can take the weekend off.
Play action. Fowler down the sideline. That one brought in by Ron Hunt, who was able to plant a foot at around the 29-yard line, so near the original set of sticks.
You were mentioning A&T first half, 7 penalties for 90 yards. So this is the 6th ball game A&T's played this year where they've had 8 or more penalties. Had 12 at homecoming against Monmouth and also against North Alabama, a game that they won, a game they didn't win against Monmouth.
3rd and 11 now for the Aggies.
And I think if you're A&T, this is 4-down territory.
Fowler under pressure, throws. That one complete to Warren. It'll be shy of the first down marker at the 22.
Fowler had to get rid of this football about a step and a half before he wanted to. An excellent out route. Going to be short of the sticks, but nice timing. It gives Brown a little better distance for his field goal attempt. Gardner Webb not afraid to bring the heat and try to make Fowler uncomfortable in the pocket. Get him off his marks.
It'll be a 41-yard field goal attempt. Rivers with the clean hold. And that one is through for Brown. Makes it a 13-7 game. North Carolina A&T on top. Thirteen to 7, A&T on top. We're back after this on ESPN 3.
Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
Here in Greensboro, as North Carolina A&T just punched home a field goal, and the Aggies lead it by 6 in the final game of the 2021 campaign for both squads. And Stan, today, Sam Washington said it was going to be about effort for both teams. We have definitely seen effort out of both squads, as a lot of these guys auditioning for depth chart placement for spring practice and for the 2022 season.
And it's also about execution, and both teams have failed on a few occasions on that. You know, some passes that, you know, Gardner Webb would love to have caught, and some big plays that A&T's been accused of not accused, that's a bad term, but they've had penalties. They did it. You know, they had penalties and hurt themselves.
The short kick to the up back. And this one will come out to the 35-yard line for Gardner Webb.
And Spencer, it goes back to what I was saying before the half, and then as the second half started. You know, Gardner Webb has had some success throwing the football. The short passes have been there. If A&T is able to take that away, that puts Gardner Webb in some problems. We haven't seen Gaither really have the explosive play. But if I'm Gardner Webb, I continue to do what I've had success with. Short passing, get Gaither in open space, use my tight end some.
1st and 10 from the 36. Fisher on the run, throws this one, and it'll bounce before it can reach Darius Hugh.
So that's one of those situations, if you're Fisher, maybe you try to see if you can pick up some yards with your legs. And what you don't want to do if you're Gardner Webb right now is give this football back to A&T with another 3 and out.
Second and 9. The handoff to Gaither, and he is tripped up in the backfield. It was Janoris Robertson who got a hand on his foot.
You look at guys that can step up and make some plays, and Robertson, another one of those young kids, comes out and yet another tackle for loss. A&T approaching 100 tackles for loss on the season.
Fisher. That one broken up. And now a late flag is called.
Okay, let's see if we can get a look at this.
Pass interference, number 48. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul.
I think the guilty party is going to be Davis, and let's see if we can get that. All right, let's see here. Keep your eye at the top of your screen. And I want to say that right hand was in there early. It wasn't actually Davis on that
It was
play.
Jacob Roberts.
Jacob Roberts, yeah.
Fisher on the run, and he is planted after scampering ahead for a few.
And what you have to consider also is, does the defensive back with that hand, you can put your hand on him, but you can't move him. You can't ride him and move him. And I think that may have what have happened. And then you get Davis hitting him at about the same time. So it looks like the play's on Davis, but I think it might have been Robertson. Might be a good call. I think it was.
Fisher towards the sideline, and that one knocked away as Hugh couldn't wrap his arms around it.
Fisher's pass incomplete.
And now a flag is thrown at the 49-yard line.
Well, this game is getting a little chippy, Spencer. Notice it after the play, and so the officials are doing a good thing, get this thing under control.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 13 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. That's number 13's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. But that will count. Third down.
So Justin Franklin's unsportsmanlike conduct penalty changes the entire complexion of this drive.
When you were talking about a third down and about 6 or 7, now you push them back. Third down 18, third down 19, and 17, 18, and those are the mistakes. What did that defense say? Execution. Yeah. That's just not well thought out. I'll say it like that.
3rd and long. The Bulldogs keep it on the ground. Gaither has nowhere to turn, and he is taken down. Jacob Roberts and Joseph Stuckey combine on the tackle.
Jacob Robertson, we mentioned it a moment ago, 2019 Celebration Bowl defensive MVP, is just continuing to have a great season. There was 79 tackles, and then you got some help with Mr. Stuckey. And I'll tell you what, knowing the fact that you're an A&T fan, knowing that Stuckey and Roberts are back next season, you got to get excited about that. Stuckey with 59 tackles and a couple of block kicks and some pass breakups. I mean, these are some good players, and they did a good job setting the edge and making a play on Gaither.
Pulaski off the skip. And a late fair catch signal. And Tootin able to secure it at the 22-yard line. So we'll take a break here in Greensboro. A&T up 6. We're back after this on ESPN 3.
Joy Bullet.
Get social with the Big South. Join the always growing network of Big South fans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. You can also follow the conference source for game updates and on-site championship coverage via Twitter at Big South Game Day. Follow, watch, like, and share with the Big South Conference. 9:26 to go here in the third. 13-7. A&T on top of Gardner Webb. As the Aggies back out on the field. Kashawn Baker inserted as the running back now as Sam Washington continues to roll through some of these backs and see what he's got. Baker finds the hole, turns upfield, and is hit and knocked forward to the 30.
What Baker gives you is that quick burst and the ability to go between the tackles and then boom. It's just a different speed than what you get out of Martin. Martin gives you the power and then the speed. This kid gives you the speed and maybe some power later.
That thrown out towards the outside. Warren, another grab on the afternoon, and that is awfully close to that first down marker, and the officials go ahead and push the chains ahead.
I think for both quarterbacks, the ability to get the ball out of your hands, get it to your receivers or backs coming out of the backfield quickly and letting them make a play, recognize what defense you're in. And I think these short passes will give Fowler just a little bit of confidence, a guy that has struggled the last couple of ball games. 3 out of 7 for only 29 yards in the first half.
1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from its own 31. 3 men in motion. Baker, nowhere to go. The whole pack of running Bulldogs in his face.
You got to be very impressed, and we've talked about it, the interior defensive line for Gardner Webb, and you saw Charles Jackson right there, big number 92, and another one of these big guys. You think Turner is a big guy, number 7. Jackson goes 6'4", 325 pounds, and only a sophomore.
Brings up 2nd and 11. Fowler able to complete that one. He's got Jordan McDaniel for the first time today.
Fowler's pass complete.
And I think that's like the 5th Aggie receiver this afternoon to catch a pass. And that's been what they've been consistent with, all season. They've had 6 guys or more to catch 10 passes, led by Banks with 25. But again, just spreading it around, looking for a matchup. Now, what is it? 3rd down and a short 4.
And if you're North Carolina A&T, you could keep it on the ground. You have running backs that are able to fight forward for that extra yardage.
I battle in between the trenches.
Fowler to the air. That one batted down, intended for McDaniel, as Jamari Brown was all over him, and that will force 4th down.
Never comfortable with the play. Fowler's backing up as he's throwing the ball. Don't think it would have been enough for a first down had he caught it. And another good defensive stand by Gardner Webb and Jamari Brown, a guy that's already had a couple of interceptions this season.
So Rivers on to punt this one away. I still remember a couple years ago, a great feature in The Undefeated about having the boxes taped into his kitchen to learn the steps for punting for Rivers. Truly remarkable story about how he taught himself to punt. As that one is secured at the 26-yard line, and will take a timeout here in Greensboro. 13-7, A&T with the lead over Gardner Webb in the season finale. We're back after this on ESPN 3.
Oh, without doubt. When your workout's a joy, it's a joy to work out.
Back with you here in Greensboro, 13-7, North Carolina A&T on top. Pepsi presents What Fans Like. And even the blue and gold marching machine here in a chilly November afternoon knows what fans like, because Pepsi knows what fans like. Make sure you pick up an ice cold, refreshing Pepsi today. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Blue and gold marching machine, we get a chance to talk about it. They did a great performance today. Recognized a lot of their seniors, and yeah, that was good. They needed a Pepsi. They needed a few drinks right there.
They deserve it.
They do.
The top HBCU marching band in the country.
I'm going to go better than that. The top band in the land. How about that?
Gaither on the shovel pass. Down the sideline, and he's angled out of bounds by Stuckey.
22, Nari Gaither.
Finding different ways to get the ball in Gaither's hands, and there you see they're trying to go a little tempo right now to Gardner Webb.
And now Gardner Webb lining up quickly as the sticks are set. Fisher finds Gaither in the flat, and he is popped.
Big time play. You could see that coming. You know, Joseph Stuckey read that. You're sending the receiver in motion. Everybody's got to block downfield. That being Stuckey, slips the block, and you can see the end of it. You don't get the block. Boom! That's what happens right there. That's Joseph Stuckey. Just an event that anybody didn't know who that was that just hit you.
The redshirt junior from Hillside, New Jersey. Had a career-high 15 tackles against Duke back in 2019. 59 tackles on the season so far. The screen pass again to Gaither. And he gets sandwiched between two Aggies shy of midfield.
Great job by A&T reading the screen pass and just holding it up just enough. Elijah Brown, 56, in on the play, chasing it down. I like the diversity in the play calls now by Gardner Webb, trying to mix things up. Taylor Lamb, we talked about earlier. Joe Scelfo, who has a long football history himself from family lineage, is the offensive line coach. They coordinate that. Yeah, you got a big-time third down play.
3rd and 11. The Bulldogs keep it on the ground. Gaither ahead, and he is taken down shy of the 40-yard line, which was needed for the first down. But with this being the last game, this might be 4th down territory.
Even if it wasn't the last game, this is a good block to the outside there. And he's just going to be about a half a yard short. Even if it wasn't, Travis Polson 71 on the lead block. You've got to go for this. You've had scoring opportunities. You haven't been able to take advantage of it. A&T made the defensive plays. It's a short 1.5 yards. Quarterback keeper maybe too deep right now. Get the ball in the guy's hands.
The Bulldogs 1 for 2 today on 4th down. Jones in the backfield.
You got to think sneak now.
Fisher. And now we have a timeout taken by Gardner Webb.
Timeout.
As Trey Lamb wants to talk about this one. This is a big play in this ballgame.
Well, I kind of thought they were trying to get a quick snap, and I couldn't get the people organizing. When Lamb went out of the shotgun, that kind of eliminated the quarterback keeper, I thought. It's too many yards to pick up for such a short distance.
Gaither was also out of the ball game. Jones was in. They had gone towards Gaither 3 straight plays.
Well, I know what you're saying, and that's okay on that short yardage play because I need power. I need to pick up a half yard. Quarterback keeper is just sensible, or the quarterback sneak. Delay, find your gap, A gap, B gap, and go over. But so I'm not that concerned. He wasn't in the ball game, considering where we are.
So 4th and 1 for Gardner Webb from the 41-yard line of North Carolina A&T.
But if you're A&T, you got to win those gaps inside. You're thinking something in that A gap in between the center and the guard. You're bringing in another blocker in Thomas, 81. So
Teams converting 66.7% of their fourth down attempts against North Carolina A&T this season.
Jones in the backfield.
Broken play. Fisher bottled up and brought down as Jacob Roberts prevented him from crossing the line of scrimmage.
And what a big-time defensive play by A&T. And if you're Gardner Webb, you take the timeout, you run the clock down, you take the timeout, and you're not able to convert on a yard. And you're thinking that's going to be option. But Jones wasn't in the right place, so they missed it at the mesh point. Either way, a big-time defensive play by the Aggies. And that was what we say. See, you laughed at me when I told you. What if? What if?
A lot of what ifs in this game.
What if,
a lot of plays left on the field. And Gardner Webb, really, that's been the story of their season.
It has been. You're exactly right.
Ifedi in as the quarterback. The end around to Tootin. He's tripped up and falls forward to the 45.
And you just can't continue to ask your defense for Gardner Webb, McGraney in on the tackle to keep us in the ball game. And remember, we talked about it earlier. This is a Gardner Webb football team that averages a shade under 30 points a ball game. But today, it's been their defense that's been leading them.
The defense has been phenomenal, holding A&T to under 100 yards of total offense in the first half. 2nd and 7. Martin. And he's up to the 49.
And these are the drives, if you're a coach, that, as you mentioned on that fourth down play, can determine a lot of things. If you're Sam Washington, you want to just grind them out in there. You want to take all the life away from the Bulldogs, put them in the doghouse, and shut the door, if matter of speaking. So this 3rd down and 3 with Martin out of the ball game, you think short pass, you think quarterback keeper. Ifedi's got a very solid ground game.
He's got a blocker in Wachuku with him. Misdirection. Ifedi across the line of scrimmage, midfield, and then to the first down marker to keep the chains moving.
And it's enough for another A&T first down.
And when you think about this A&T football team, and you think about rushing the football, they've had 4 150-yard ground games. Get a little push there, block on the backside. Ifedi, who's been very efficient as a running back. 2 of the 13 rushing touchdowns the Aggies have come from Ifedi, but those 2 were in game 2 of the season.
1st and 10 now for the Aggies in Gardner Webb territory. Play action. Ifedi unloads, finds Hunt towards the numbers. Nifty move. And he is angled out of bounds at the 34.
Great call by the offensive staff of the Aggies. You've been going inside. You have to play fake. It gives Ifedi, who has the option to possibly running the ball, play fake, and you get a wide open Hunt for the catch and the first down. Nice call there, and a better catch by Hunt.
1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T.
1st down and 10 for the Aggies at the Bulldog 34.
Play action again. Ifedi on the run. Hits Warren. And the Aggies are into the red zone.
And we've seen this several times early in the football game. The play fake not only holds those linebackers, but the DBs as well. And you see crossing route, just a nice pass, an easy throw, and a better catch. Jamison Warren having a nice game this afternoon.
Jamison Warren, a product of one of the best high school offenses in the state of North Carolina from East Forsyth High School. 2 state championships for head coach Todd Willard, just down the road, about 15 minutes away from here. Baker, the motion man. He'll take the screen and cannot handle the football. He was down on one knee.
And I was watching Baker go across formation, and the Gardner Webb defense didn't move. So it's kind of like basketball when you send a guy from the top and cutter, you know they're in man. If somebody follows them, they were in zone all the way. So that was the underneath route. Ball a bit underthrown, and probably for the better for A&T, he didn't catch the ball because it was going to be a negative play.
2nd and 10 now from the 19. The Aggies have scored on 70% of their red zone chances this season, sitting just inside by about a yard.
Got to get it off.
Martin spins out of the first tackle, tries again on the second, and is able to lean forward for a gain of 1.
Tremaine Martin playing, I think maybe 75, 80%. I just mentioned something that is worth talking about. A&T's got 13 rushing touchdowns this year. Martin's got 4 of them. Baker's got 4 of them. Tootin's got 3, and Fitty's got the other 2. It's 13 rushing touchdowns. 2 years ago, Martin had 20, 24, 23, 22, 21, what was it? He had 24 rushing touchdowns himself.
And was averaging 8.3 yards per carry. 3 on the play clock. Ifedi under pressure, tucks it, runs it, has some room. He's to the 10 and is brought down just inside the sticks. And that will end the third quarter here in Greensboro. North Carolina A&T trying to extend its streak of consecutive winning seasons to 9 in a row. We'll find out if they can do it here right here on ESPN3.
Strength.
Back with you here in Greensboro. 13-7, North Carolina A&T on top of Gardner Webb.
Ifedi using his legs, very similar. He's done a few other occasions this season. Like you mentioned earlier, had a very nice passing day last Saturday in their big win over South Carolina State, where he completed, actually he ran the ball for 7 yards.
Ifedi able to take it in.
Today, too.
On 4th and 1, give him 6. A touchdown via the ground.
We're just talking about his legs. And Kingsley Ifedi has come in and really given A&T a big spark. The 4th down stop, and watch his quarterback keeper all the way. Gets a block with Chukwu out there leading the way. Aggies back on the board.
North Carolina A&T starting to come alive on offense, and Kingsley Ifedi has been the spark on senior day in what is expected to be his final game in an A&T uniform.
18.
Brown on for the PAT. And that one is good, and a flag on the play, so we'll check what the laundry on the field is. There's a conversation to see if you want to enforce it on the PAT or on the kickoff.
Running into the kicker, defense number 14. 5-yard penalty is declined.
Penalty is declined. And we'll take a timeout. North Carolina A&T on top 20-7. We're back after this on ESPN3. 20-7, North Carolina A&T ahead and starting to take control of this game against Gardner Webb. Kingsley Ifedi has been pretty good at leading this offense since he's been on the field.
Well, he really has. And he's taken control of the moment thanks largely to the Aggie defense. And they forced the 3-and-out early. They got the stoppage play. And when after the timeout for Gardner Webb, and that's what we said. These are kind of the back-breaking things. So now Gardner Webb still within striking distance. As we said, this is a high-scoring offense throughout this season, and find yourselves down 2 scores with plenty of time left to play in this football game. But that touchdown by the Aggies, very, very key to getting win number 6.
It would extend the winning season streak to 9 consecutive years, as Crankfield is taken down shy of the 15-yard line.
This isn't a criticism of Crankfield, but I've been curious watching games this year a lot lately where guys will get the return, especially the momentum swing like that. deep kick and you don't use the fair catch rule and get the ball to 25. You save a couple of seconds, but they didn't advance. But they didn't even get the ball to the 20. And I just think that those plays like that can help be a momentum swing for you. Save you some time on the backside. But I'm not a special teams coach, so I'm gonna stay out of it. But I've noticed it a lot lately.
You're not wrong though, Stan. It's understanding time, score, and the whole situation as Gaither takes the handoff, cuts it towards the outside, sees the stick, runs just past it, and earns a first down.
Yeah, he's just now getting past the 25-yard line. That's sometimes you have to think about, can you break it, where the ball is placed. I know there are a lot of things factors. It's something I watch and I'm very curious about. But that's a big way to answer if you're Gardner Webb.
Bailey Fisher, the 5'11 junior.
Single back.
Quickly flings it down the field. The double pass. Jordan grabs it down the sideline. To the 10, the 5, and in.
Wow.
For 6. Justin Franklin. The second pass on the double pass.
What a great call. Behind the line of scrimmage. Very easy, and it's wide open. You can see that developing from the moment, and Franklin puts this ball on the money, and Jordan, there's nothing in his way but air and opportunity and maybe some green and brown grass. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
And we have an injured Aggie on the field. With 14:02 to go here in the fourth. Chris Williams was the injured Aggie, and he is up and walking off under his own power, so that's good to see. But Gardner Webb right back in this ball game, Stan.
Absolutely perfect play call by Taylor Lamb.
That one through, and all of a sudden, Gardner Webb makes it a 6-point game yet again with 14:02 to go here in the fourth. We've got a ball game in Greensboro. We're back after this on ESPN 3.
Obviously. Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
With you here in Greensboro, 14:02 to go, 20-14, A&T on top, but Gardner Webb starting to make it happen.
Well, this is just a little throwback, and you get Franklin in motion, and he's wide open. He could have run the ball, but he doesn't because there's a wide open, guy in Jordan down there, and the defense reacts to the first pass. You don't see the guy slipping behind you, and that's just an excellent play call by the Gardner Webb staff. Great execution, and the only thing that you didn't make sure happened was that Franklin didn't overthrow Jordan, and he didn't, and we got ourselves a ball game the way it should be. The last game of the season.
Gardner Webb has come up just short in a few games.
Yes, they have.
2 straight double overtime games at Hampton against Charleston Southern, a tight one at Kennesaw. And by the way, Kennesaw State leading Monmouth 42-10 heading into the fourth quarter in the Big South Championship game.
There you go.
So this Gardner Webb team has talent. And that one is misplayed by Tootin. He gets swallowed up, loses the football. It's on the deck. Gardner Webb says they have it.
And they do.
Now flags come flying in.
And recovered by Gardner Webb. First down.
Tootin's helmet flies off. And it's Matthew Robinson who comes up with the football for Gardner Webb.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on North Carolina A&T. Number 37 pulling a player off the pile. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Gardner Webb football, first down.
A safety measure that was implied a couple of years ago about pulling guys and moving you off the pile. You've got the pile, established, and 37 pulls up. But watch this play as a bust from the beginning. He's backing up. You can't see it there. Backs up, loses sight, go down, tries to make a play. You give him an effort, and there's a lot of stuff going on at the bottom of the pile. You see Tootin stealing that football. A lot of white shirts around it, and at the bottom of the pile, now watch. See, right, you can't, maybe we won't see it. Yeah, we will. See 37, that's easy. See, that was an easy call. Good job by folks in the crew right there. That was a good shot. You got that.
And that was Avarion Cole who came up with the penalty. And now Gardner Webb in a position to potentially take the lead, leading 20-14. Fisher takes it himself, dives for the end zone. Is he in? Touchdown, Gardner Webb.
The rolling on the field is the runner running the play.
And that's all that has to happen is the ball has to touch the goal line or touch the white, and if it does, it breaks that plane, that imaginary cylinder. So does he break the plane before he loses control? Yes. Oh, very easily so. Oh, very easy. Not anything to argue about. Yes. Touchdown, Gardner Webb. And it goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. What if?
Special teams. Have to execute on special teams if you're going to win ball games.
And you're not trying to put the finger on Tootin, but remember what we were just finished talking about where do you recover those kicks?
And just let it go.
He was backing up. Just stay there, down it, and you go. But Gardner Webb, opportunistic, had some opportunities that didn't score. They take advantage of it, can take the lead and extend it.
And that one through. The Bulldogs on top, 21-20 with 13:44 to play here in the fourth, and we have a flag on the field. As we mentioned, Stan, this Gardner Webb Ball Club has been in almost every game they've played in this season against FCS competition.
Running into the kicker, defense number 52. Penalty is declined. The extra point is good.
And the Bulldogs showing that they've matured from all those instances.
Reed. Does he break the plane? Yes, see? He almost got his elbow in the end zone. So the ground can't cause a fumble. The moment the ball crosses the plane, it actually touches the end line, the goal line, then it's a touchdown. And that's exactly what happened. And so, again, now the Aggies are asking to say, what if we don't fumble? What if we don't make a mistake there? Now, can they bounce back?
14 unanswered points with Gardner Webb over the last couple of minutes of action. And all of the sudden, the energy has been sucked out of Truist Stadium as the running Bulldogs have been running towards pay dirt.
And they had forced, and we talked about that earlier, the positive, negative, and turnovers. They'd forced 3 or more turnovers in 4 football games this year. And one of those games was that Hampton close overtime loss. So they've done this. There you go.
Tootin secures it and is taken down inside the 15. Stan, this goes back to what you have now mentioned multiple times today. Why not just let the ball roll through the end zone for the touchback?
In some cases, I think it's a very valid situation. You know, Tootin, a moment ago, not picking him, just to be honest, was backing up. So just don't let the ball play you. He still was able to get the ball, but he fumbled it, and this time it's a big play. I think this is going to be on Gardner Webb.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the kicking team, number 10, taunting. 15-yard penalty for the dead ball spot. First down.
Yeah, this game has been chippy almost from the middle of the first quarter, and a close game like this, both teams desperate to try to get a win to go into Christmas holidays happy and the winter workouts. And now you got to keep your composure. Big time open field tackle that time by Kendall Massey.
Gardner Webb has dropped 9 Big South road games in a row. As we'll get another look at the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Watch Massey. So you take a step back. Okay, and you've got a good return unit in A&T, but that one, and that's a big-time open field momentum swing game. But the taunting came on the other side of the ball.
The handoff to Martin, and he is taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
It's that man again. It's that man again. Shy. He ain't Shy. Shy Thomas.
There's an injured Bulldog on the field.
Injury timeout.
It's Willie Harris, the freshman from Cochran, Georgia. But Stan, we haven't mentioned this enough today, but Gardner Webb has struggled mightily on the road since 2017.
Yes. Is it like 8, 9 games in a row?
9
conference
Big South
games?
games in a row that they have lost. And yet this team continues to fight here in Greensboro. They do not seem to be fazed by what was taking place earlier. Down 13, now up 1 after 14 unanswered points.
Well, if you know anything about the Lamb family, you know they're about winning. Coach Lamb back in the day, as we mentioned, at Mercer for many, many years. You know, Taylor is the OC and had a lot of great success as Appalachia made the change, you know, from FCS, FBS, and got to their first bowl games, and still got records up in Boone, and now he's the coordinator. And then Trey had a lot of success at Tennessee Tech, and now here at Gardner Webb. So yeah, this is a team. As I said earlier, you know what A&T did to them in the past, and those big 45, 48 wins, whatever, mean nothing today. That was in the past. This is the future, and the future is now.
Gardner Webb 2-22 in road games since 2017. Ifedi keeps it. And he is stood up after a gain of a few.
And Spencer, if you're Gardner Webb, you're now playing Ifedi more as a runner, daring him to throw. So you can expect to see a lot of pressure on him on third down. 3rd down and 9, you got to protect the sticks. They've had success with the little out routes, but I got to put some pressure on him, make him uncomfortable, make him decide, okay, I want to be a runner as opposed to a passer, and then come in and close.
Brings up 3rd and 9 from the 29 for North Carolina A&T.
So TJ Comstock, not number 9, 51 tackles on the year. You know he's going to be coming pressure. And this 4-2-5 is always the opportunity of a stopper run or a blitzer.
Pressure's on. Ifedi gets rid of it, and Kashawn Baker, his eyes got too big, and he couldn't keep his hands on the football.
Well, this was well covered by Gardner Webb. There was pressure and made it really a one-way route. You can see Ifedi's only looking one way to Tootin. Ball is thrown. Nice pass. And Tootin can play before he gets the football, and the ball kind of got up on him a little bit. Gardner Webb there to cover it. Christian Wright was there to coverage, but hey, momentum has completely swung the team in white and black, and red too, I guess.
Rivers, booming punt. That one secured by Skanes, and we have a timeout on the field. 12:08 to play in this one. Gardner Webb up 1. We're back after this on ESPN 3.
The noise to deliver game-changing insight.
Boomer Bust says C.D. Lamb is good.
12:08 to go. Gardner Webb 21, North Carolina A&T 20, as the Runnin Bulldogs have taken control of this ball game. Bailey Fisher has managed a tremendous second half, Stan.
Well, now if you are Gardner Webb, those Runnin Bulldogs, I think this is a time when you want to just continue to run the ball and make some plays. Keep the chains moving, keep the clock moving, no mistakes. They'll be happy to go out of here with a 1-point win. But this is when the Aggie defense, they had the Blue Death defense here. The old-time guys came in today, and this is Blue Death now, part 4, if possible.
Gaither up the sideline, lowers his shoulder, and barrels his way to a first down. Nari Gaither, for 5'10", 177 pounds, runs around like he's a wrecking ball.
And it's not really that time to start really worrying and conserving the clock, but Gaither did a really nice thing. He ran the football, he stayed in bounds, took another lick, and picked up an extra 2 or 3 yards.
1st and 10 now for the Bulldogs from the 47.
Single high safety for A&T. Slant routes are available.
Play action.
Out routes are
that
available.
One tipped by Stephen Davis and incomplete. It was intended for Justin Jordan.
Number 48, Stephen Davis Jr.
Don't be surprised if you see them run this same set again. If they've got that safety, it's going to be that deep. Because they'll take a shot downfield possibly based on time and score to the corner. Gaither, 56 yards on 14 carries so far.
I have a feeling he'll be used a lot more here in the 4th quarter as Gardner Webb tries to take this clock down with a 1-point lead.
But the problem with that play was that the incompletion stops the clock. Play clock down to 2. They may have to use a timeout.
Just get it off. Fisher, the keeper, spins out of trouble, leans ahead, and gains a few. Bailey Fisher today, 15 of 23, 187 yards and a touchdown through the air. Also added one on the ground.
Gardner Webb's had 6 ball games this year where they've rushed for 30 times or more. So far in this game, they've carried the ball 26 times.
It's 3rd and 9 for Gardner Webb. The Bulldogs 1 of 8 on 3rd down. Gaither out of the backfield, keeps going and earns a 1st down, and there's flags on the play for a horse collar tackle, it appears.
Remember when we talked about the single high? You come to the open side of the deep side, they run a little screen underneath. Watch this at the end of the play, that's Gaither.
15-yard penalty added on to the end of the run.
And there, you see the second loop, when he had him, he did was, but then he pulls back, and that was a horse collar, and another 15 yards added to the play. And Gardner Webb right now in control of this football game.
The clock rolling down as Gardner Webb has completely taken the reins of this ball game.
Bunch formation. It's another way to get the ball.
Some movement on the offensive line. It was Clayton Frady.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And so what is it? I mean, I'm trying to do some quick math. I think that's like the 11th penalty now for the Aggies unofficially. And remember what I said earlier in the game, they've had 2 ball games this year where they've had as many as 12 penalties, and that one game was against North Alabama, and the other was against Monmouth. 5 games with 8 or more, and so, A&T's hurt themselves. Go back to what if.
135 yards worth of penalties as that one batted down by Roberts. That's a lot of penalty yards to give up, Stan. That's more than a football field.
It exactly is, and one of those gives up a touchdown. And a lot of those penalties, I understand maybe the horse collar. Watch Roberts get there, get his hand there to deflect the ball. But I understand maybe the horse collar, you're trying to make a stop. But you've had some motion. You've had, the offside that ends up giving the touchdown, a couple of holds, 2 early pass interference penalties. These are the things that can get you beat.
2nd and long. That pass complete. It was James Ellis who hauled it in, who played his high school ball just down the road at Page High School here in Greensboro.
A chip shot away. That ball stayed in the air a long time by Fisher. Ellis comes up with the catch in front of a lot of the hometown friends. Wonder how many tickets he had to try to secure for this ball game.
Of course, Gardner Webb just about 2 hours southwest of Greensboro, North Carolina.
Say near Charlotte. That'd be easy. It says near Charlotte. Southwest, northeast, west. 3rd and 5. And the goal line is what the Bulldogs want to get in.
Fisher, the loft pass to Gaither, turns upfield. He's got space and is angled out of bounds inside the 5.
Number 22, Gaither.
Gardner Webb understands that the Aggies really come after you. So what they're doing is they're playing against it. Get rid of the ball fast, get your guys in open field. There was not a blue shirt around him. Send 2 receivers underneath, let him go to the side. Nice pass, nice catch. Gaither with a first down.
And now Gardner Webb on the doorstep of the end zone. 1st and goal from the 4. Play action, now a late pitch. Gaither tries to turn upfield, and he is denied. Joseph Stuckey on the stop.
Aggie fans are stunned. You could hear a pin drop in the stadium right now.
Good to see Alex Fumba back on the field. He was down earlier with an injury. He was in on that tackle as well. Gardner Webb trying to extend its lead. Gaither the motion man. Fisher keeps it himself, and the Aggies were not fooled.
Fisher on the keeper, and he stopped for a loss.
This is a slow developing play. Fisher, not under that much pressure that he had to really take off. I think it might have been designed quarterback keeper, but if he waits, he's got a receiver breaking to the outside that would have been wide open in end zone. That was Turner. So let's see if they go to a very similar formation. They went 3 wides and sent the prime running back in motion to the strong side of the field. So you've got man across the board. See what they call.
3rd and goal from the 7. Gaither tries to break free. He does. He's in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Nari Gaither continues his stellar season.
Fisher to Gaither.
There's a similar formation that we just mentioned, Spencer on the previous play, and they just send Gaither underneath, and you can see this developing. Nice blocking there, and you can see he just comes out of the side door basically. They send 2 receivers down, and they get a great block by the offensive line and wide receivers and Bulldogs back in the end zone.
The PAT is good, and it's 28-20. Gardner Webb with the lead. 7:13 to go here in Greensboro as the 2021 season about to come to a close. But Gardner Webb trying to make a statement after going 2-22 in the last 24 road games.
We're brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, the official health insurance partner of.
And how about Nari Gaither?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it in the opening, that he's a very multi-dimensional player. He catches out of the backfield, was on the 2nd leading receiver on his football team out of the backfield, needed about 115 yards to get to 1,000, and they've found ways to get him the football. And what have you noticed a lot about when you've seen Gaither in the last couple of plays? He's been alone. He's been alone. There's nobody really getting a hand on him until he's already crossed the line of scrimmage or gotten the play. And they're winning their matchups. They're winning their offensive line matchups. They're winning their wide receiver matchups. A great game plan by the Bulldogs of Gardner Webb from Bowling Springs, North Carolina. A good friend who went to Bowling Springs back in the day, a guy named Bruce Price. Artis Gilmore played there back in the day.
Tootin mishandles another kickoff. And now we have a flag coming in late as Tootin is tripped up at the 12. But his confidence is obviously shaken.
And I hate to see this for a guy in Tootin that's got a tremendous upside.
During the return, illegal block of the back by the return team number 34. Penalty is half the distance from the spot of foul. First down.
That penalty on Jazir Staten. And so the Aggies are going to be pinned back near their end zone deep.
Okay, so here are your questions right now. Who is the better thrower, Ifedi or Fowler? And whoever that quarterback is right now for this drive, that person has got to have the confidence to lead the Aggies in the end zone. It's not about who you like. It's about who can make the job right now, who can get the job done. Ifedi can hurt you with your legs.
I think Ifedi leaves the defense more off balance.
Exactly.
And that's why he's out on the field as John
Exactly.
Martin fights for a few yards ahead.
And if you keep Ifedi, you have the tendency to think that Gardner Webb knows he's more of a runner than a thrower. They're going to bring an extra man in the box to make it more difficult for you to throw the ball. That will allow you to have one-on-one coverage for these outstanding receivers to the outside.
The Aggies now working quickly.
And 6 for the Aggies.
Play action. Ifedi throws this one away, and it is intercepted.
Defending pass. Intercepted.
It's A.J. Thomas.
By number 14.
Wow, how this game has swung. Ifedi hesitates for a second and just throws the ball. And watch Thomas, keep your eye on 14. He just steps inside the receiver. The ball was thrown closer to him than to the intended receiver for the A&T Aggies, that being Hunt. Kind of reminds you of that Super Bowl play back when the Patriots beat the Seahawks.
Yep.
He just stepped inside the receiver, and the Aggie fans very uncomfortable right now, and the Aggies uncomfortable because Gardner Webb has seized the momentum and has a chance to put this game possibly out of reach. Even though it would be a 2-score game. But right now, A&T's struggling on offense.
21 unanswered points put on the board by Gardner Webb as Gaither is swallowed up by the front 7. But the Runnin' Bulldogs in control here in Greensboro as Truist Stadium starts to empty out.
Well, Ifedi looks for a second, hesitates, and then tries to, really drill the pass in there. And by that time, Fisher had already read the play and was trying to jump the route. And Hunt's got to do a good job of trying to battle for the football, but he got inside position on it. Kind of like you do in a basketball game. He boxed him out, and he just stepped to it, and that was an relatively easy interception for Gardner Webb. And they are in no hurry to come down here and take this game away from the Aggies.
And a whistle and timeout taken by Trey Lamb and the Bulldogs.
Gardner Webb, first of the half.
The
First timeout taken of the half. As we
Watch
get
this,
another look.
little hesitation to pump. And you also got to give a lot of credit to Honus Wagner, not the baseball player, but the linebacker, because he kind of gets in the way, the eyesight of Ifedi and makes him hesitate just enough that he throws the ball in what he thought was the open area, the receiver going, and we know the rest. But you're talking about big plays. There have been a ton of big plays in the second half, more specifically in the fourth quarter, that have gone the way of the Gardner Webb Bulldogs.
The Runnin' Bulldogs coming into this one had been outscored in the fourth quarter. Now, not the case. The Bulldogs outscoring their opponents in the fourth and final period.
And the Aggies had given up 58 points in the fourth quarter this year, too. So
Fisher rolls out, throws to the end zone. That one complete. Justin Franklin, but there's a flag on the play.
To number 11, Justin Jordan. There is a flag on the play.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense, number 73.
Will Webster, the graduate student from Coastal Carolina who transferred in, was downfield, and that'll wipe the points off the board.
This is a little bit of RPO action there. And Fisher, who I thought maybe could have run, picked up a lot of yards, maybe even a touchdown, sees his receiver. You got to let that play develop. And Fisher, now you take a look right there. See 71's already downfield, and there's also 65 downfield. So and 73. 2 or 3 guys they could have called it on. They called it on 65.
That's unfortunate for Will Webster. He got singled out.
Yeah, it was. But, you can see 1, 2, 3 guys. That's, a great call. And that's what happens a lot of times when you're in RPO. So Aggies dodge a bullet there, but the clock.
Offense. 5-yard penalty, second out.
So now the Bulldogs backed up another 5 yards, and it will be second and goal from the 19.
And there's a couple of rules of thought right now. One, Gardner Webb needs to understand this game's not over. A&T needs to understand this game's not over. Make a play. And it's 3rd down and goal. Okay, 2nd and goal, I should say. And if you're Gardner Webb, you don't need to get all this back in one fell swoop.
You also have a strong runner in Gaither, who takes the football, waits patiently for a hole. It never opens up, and he is brought down about a half a yard shy of the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up 3rd and goal now from just inside the 20.
You're seeing a lot of this on these zone reads now, where the running backs kind of just kind of jump around, bounce around, not really make a decision on what. Let the play develop a little bit. Offensive line gets off their blocks, and you kind of go. And so he just does that. And also, it takes up a bit of the clock. It's going to be about 5 minutes or less under when this play is started. 5
Empty
minutes
set. Gaither able to hold on, and he brings it in for the score. Nari Gaither. Touchdown, Gardner Webb.
You isolate. There's 22 inside in the slot. Just makes a little move, gets away from 2 Aggies, and the rest is history. A great move to get away from the defenders by Gaither. A perfectly thrown pass by Bailey. And now, maybe now, they can start celebrating in Bowling Springs.
The PAT is good. And we head to a timeout. Gardner Webb on top. Back with you here in Greensboro, 35-20. Gardner Webb takes control in the 4th quarter. It's time to name our Hercules Tires strong move of the game, and the double pass at the beginning of the 4th quarter. Justin Franklin to Justin Jordan. And we're off. This one taken back to the 40. Down the sideline. It's Harris, and he is in for 6. No flags on the field.
Take that. Wow. We told you the game wasn't quite over. You got to make a play, and this is the big-time play that A&T needed. Aaron Harris, the freshman from Elizabeth City Northeastern, gets a block, bounces to the outside, and no one lays a hand on it. Ooh, there's a close block right there. I think it's good, though. And that's the kind of play you need to have for A&T to get back in the game. Talking about momentum.
Special teams continue to play a role.
Correction. Number 32, Aaron Harris.
It was a 99-yard return for Harris.
Now, do you go for
Offense, number 59, 5-yard penalty.
Well, now I don't think you can, because you just got backed up on a false start.
That's what I was trying. Yeah, I think you have to kick this, and you still got plenty of time to let your defense make a play. Wow, what a game changer!
And the kick is good. 35-27. Gardner Webb on top with 4:39 to go. As the Aggies reminding the Bulldogs that they're not going anywhere. They have a winning season that they're trying to fight for.
We had, 20 points scored in the first half of this game. And in the 4th quarter, we've had over 20. I mean, we've had 20 points scored in the last 3 minutes. You kidding me? This is what it's all about. I mean, don't quit. Don't give up. Execution. And the big-time play by Harris keeps the Aggie faithful alive.
I'm going to steal a line from one of my favorite movies of all time, a great football movie, The Water Boy, right? Bobby Boucher playing in the Bourbon Bowl. Can't hold anything back now. The last game of the season.
No.
Can't hold anything back now.
Exactly. So you're thinking onside kick maybe by the Aggies? Nah. Kick it deep. Let your defense make a play.
Well, Andrew Brown appears to be setting up for a potential onside kick, it looks like.
Okay.
The way he's positioning the ball on the tee, there's a chance.
So remember, the ball has got to go 10 yards before an Aggie player can touch it.
That's exactly what looks like is about to happen. And Gardner Webb starting to creep up just now. And a timeout taken by the Bulldogs as they finally realized what was happening. You and I were blessed with that bird's eye view, so we saw it developing.
Well, I'm just thinking. I mean, okay, do you go for the onside kick? If that happens and Gardner Webb recovers at good field position, 1 first down, maybe 2, and the ball game should be theirs without a mistake. And if you're A&T, if you recover it, you've still got momentum and a chance. So, this is one of those coaching decisions that I don't think you go wrong. And the interesting thing is that I'm trying to keep up with this. I think that was Gardner Webb's last timeout. I need to confirm that. And if it is, then I think that's advantage Aggies. They can get a couple of stops.
.439 to go. 35-27, North Carolina A&T trailing Gardner Webb. Andrew Brown lining up for what appears to be an onside kick.
Here we go.
And now we have a whistle and a timeout taken by North Carolina A&T.
Let's see, one of the things Sam Washington, look, they were in a formation where everybody was deep and Gardner Webb moved everyone up. Okay, and they were protecting about 15 yards of deep. This time, Gardner Webb had 7 guys basically in the neutral zone for them. So if the ball gets by, and so how do you kick this? And these kickers now are more advanced than they ever were. They can make it bounce and bounce a second time and take the high hop. And so everybody's trying to get the strategy right and where you want to be.
I will say, though, that's 2 timeouts burned, one by each team, at a very critical point in this ball game, especially for A&T as you're trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, I know, but you got to you got to get it right.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know that I would have called a timeout. I would have wanted to if I were Gardner Webb. See, now see, this is the switcheroo. So you kick it deep and you cover this. And remember, 10 yards.
Brown sends it deep. Jones retreats. And the fair catch will take it to the 25.
Yeah. A&T showed a hand. Gardner Webb countered it. Gardner Webb showed a hand. A&T countered that. And they said, okay, we'll just kick it deep. And we'll let our defense try to win this football game for us.
The A&T defense, up until the fourth quarter, had been playing some really good football.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, though, Bailey Fisher and the Bulldog offense running up and down the grass surface here at Truist Stadium.
And you notice that time they took the fair catch. The only thing for that, the negative was the clock didn't move. So 4:39, no timeouts remain for the Bulldogs. The Aggies have all 3 of their timeouts.
Gaither. He gets swallowed up by Stuckey.
22 Gaither on the carry. Was not made by number 8, Joseph Stuckey.
So the clock moves on the run.
This is when you wish you could pick up 2 or 3 yards on first down just to make this second down, a little bit easier if you're GW. And if you're A&T, you gotta come full out. Put a guy in the box. You know you're going to be in man coverage. You don't think they're going to throw it long or deep, and if so, you've got to put pressure on the quarterback enough. So this is a chess match for certain now.
to the ground. Gaither ahead to the 30. And so a gain of 5 on that one. Makes it 3rd and 5 for Gardner Webb.
Line of gain is the 35-yard line for Gardner Webb. Got a lot of weapons. Here we go, 3 wide. Remember, they ran underneath a few minutes ago and got a first down in the out route to get a touchdown.
Gaither open on the screen. He's ahead after the first contact. He's got a first down. Nari Gaither's been so tough today, Stan.
Well, they've been very consistent with this play call in this set. 3 wide receivers, use your back out of the backfield. He's an excellent receiver, runs the ball well. Watch this, takes a hit there. And you think he's down, it's somebody else. It's Jones that goes down. Gaither reads the coverage, goes down, and wisely stays in bounds. Remember, the clock will start to set the chains. The clock is now moving. 2:50 left to play.
And the Aggies only have 2 timeouts remaining to stop the clock. Gaither again gets the call. And he'll lose a half a yard. Timeout taken by North Carolina A&T. That'll stop the clock with 2:27 remaining in the 4th.
Nice little acting job there. Like Cobb just kind of like, that touch and fall down. See if you get a penalty.
Listen, the drama teacher has to stay employed somehow.
Oh, no question.
Well, Stan, interesting set of circumstances here. It's now 2nd and 11. North Carolina A&T's defense, until the 4th quarter, had held Gardner Webb in check on 2nd and long and 3rd and medium. Now, 4th quarter, all bets off. Do you think A&T has it in them to try and find that again here and keep the season in check and potentially really moving on here, that let them have a chance on offense?
Well, we'll see. You saw Frady 61, Snyder 78. They've done a good job along with Gabe Thompson, the center. So we'll see what they can do on this 2nd down play.
Gaither off tackle, gets bumped, still chugging, and he falls forward to the 43.
Gaither on the carry.
The extra effort. He's going to be short. So the Aggies are going to get the football back. You tend to think unless they're able to convert on 3rd down, Spencer. And so we'll see what is. And Gardner Webb, like we said, no big rush to get this off. 20 seconds on the play clock. They've got time. They got everything going their way if you just execute. Aggies getting their guys to get on the sideline because they're going to be in a 2-minute drill under 2.
3rd and 5 for Gardner Webb. Jones. And he goes nowhere. 4th down now for Gardner Webb.
A safe call. It's a safe call, I think. Go in between tackles, see what you can get.
Timeout for North Carolina A&T. It's the 30-second timeout. 3rd and final of the half.
That'll be the 3rd and final timeout taken by North Carolina A&T with 1:28 to go. So the Aggies, barring an unusual play, which there have been plenty of today, will get the ball back with time to work.
Plenty of time. If I'm Taylor Lamb, I'm scared to death right now because we've already had 1 kick blocked. You've had a punt blocked. And that set up an Aggie scored. So you got to make sure your special teams guys understand exactly what we need to do. I kick this as far as I can, and I'm kicking it to the sideline. I mean, I make this real simple. And the question is, do the Aggies send a house or they set up a return? Looks like they're going to send some people.
Kashawn Baker back deep to return. Pawlowski gets it off. Baker fields it. And Baker able to take it ahead to around the 33-yard line.
Excellent job by A&T defensively. Good job by the Gardner Webb special teams to get this kick off. So you got time. You got a lot of time. The only problem is I don't think you've got any timeouts remaining. None.
No timeouts for either side. And it will be Zach Yeager, the freshman quarterback, in to lead the 2-minute drill.
Strong arm, young player. Here we go. You want to become a legend before your time?
From the Minneapolis, Minnesota region. The future is now, according to Sam Washington.
What a gutsy move.
To the outside, that one is complete. Taken to Prestige Edwards.
Yeager needs to understand you've got time. Do the things that you've done. They've given him a limited amount of plays, so it's just got get the ball in play. Don't make a bad decision. If when in doubt, throw it out of bounds.
Yeager tries to turn ahead, and he is able to get out of bounds to stop the clock as the play broke down with 47 seconds remaining.
He thought for a second that he was going to try to force something in there, and then wisely just kind of continues to run, get out of bounds, and save some clock. Got third down, so then your first thing is just make sure that we get the first down, and then we go from there. Martin in the backfield, you can always use him as a receiver. Needs 7 yards to keep this drive going. You don't want to put all the pressure on fourth down.
3rd and 7. Yeager over the middle. That one hits Warren in the hands, and he drops it.
Yeager's pass incomplete. Intended for Jameson Warren.
It's a nicely thrown ball. But he's also crossing in front of the sun. The end of the afternoon, and that could have posed a problem for Warren, who's had a nice afternoon. So here we go.
Comes down to this, 43 seconds to go, 4th and 7. The 8-season winning season streak on the line. Yeager looking. Bombs it down the field. He's got Hunt, and that one is batted down and knocked away. It was A.J. Thomas who had the interception earlier who knocked it down.
Great coverage by Gardner Webb. A&T had 2 guys in there. You're going for the home run. You see underneath there was Martin. He's looking for the big play, and nice coverage. Wow, ball was deflected. Maybe come back in play, but a good job by Gardner Webb covering the deep route.
North Carolina A&T took care of business against Gardner Webb in the last 2 matchups, completely dominating those games. Stan, tonight, though, you see just how much progress Trey Lamb and the Runnin Bulldogs have made over the last 2 years.
Well, yeah, number 2 offense in the Big South, averaging about 30 points a ball game. A&T was one of the better defenses, allowing a shade under 24 points. So, yeah, they were a better football team. A&T, still doing some things. Very disappointing loss for Sam Washington, but a great win to end the season for Mr. Lamb and the Gardner Webb Bulldogs.
You see the 2 coaches embracing at midfield as their seasons have come to an end. 35-27, Gardner Webb with the win on the road, ending the 9-game Big South road losing streak here in Greensboro, North Carolina. For my partner, Stan Luter, and our Greensboro-based ESPN crew, I'm Spencer Turkin saying so long from Truist Stadium. The final score, Gardner Webb beats North Carolina A&T 35-27. You've been watching the Big South Conference on ESPN3. Good night, everybody.